Hello everyone, welcome to mindovermania. My name is Christian and today we are doing another pick a group reading! Yay! Where you get to choose your intuitively guided messages. Today's topic today is going to be, what is my heart trying to tell me? I am quite excited for this reading because the whole purpose of this is to help you with navigating your inner heart space. And you know how everyone's like, oh, follow your heart. What is your heart telling you? And you're like, ow? Or maybe you're like, I have no idea. What does that even mean? Some of you are like, I have heart issues. You know what I mean? So the purpose of this message is to try to help you guys navigate that and, take only what resonates. I'm going to try my best to ask questions that even if necessarily the message does not resonate with you, there may be just a general vibe about maybe a blockage that's going on, or just giving you a place to start. If you would like to have exercises of actually checking out what you are feeling right now and trying to connect with your heart space, please check out my blog. I do have a couple articles written about that, or we're in the process of getting those out there. But also make sure that you consider talking to a mental health professional if you are kind of struggling with that inner navigation. I am not a professional therapist or social worker or any of that stuff, so this is just supposed to be for entertainment purposes, as well as just kind of a little fun reading to get the ball rolling on your healing journey. Now, normally, for you guys, I have piles for you to choose from already laid out, but I wanted to do a little special something different. So while I was struggling with my mental health in the past, I had made jars of written compliments to randomly pull during times when I wasn't feeling the best about myself. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to individually pull compliments for you guys for each pile. I'm going to have you watch me do it, and that's going to dictate the pile. There are going to be 4, maybe 5 piles today that we're going to read from. And what you're going to do is, as each pile gets drawn, if you feel drawn towards a specific one or a specific compliment and message, then we're going to go ahead and that is more than likely supposed to be your pile. I have my good buddy Moose here trying to get on the table, so you may see random cat interference. Yep, there you go. Moose, you gonna help me pick the compliments for the people? Yeah, look at that. Look at that fur ball. Isn't she cute? Yeah, okay. So, for group number 1, this is going to be your compliment. Oh gosh. Oh, there's a compliment inside of a compliment. Uh-oh, you guys are multi-layered. All right, so for pile number 1, you've got "You are strong enough." For pile number 2, you got "I'm so proud of you." Let me go ahead and dig in a little deeper here. For pile number 3, we've got "Love is on the way." Ooh! Okay. For pile number 4, we have "You have overcome so much." I love that Moose is giving her input here. All right, you know what? I am gonna do 5 piles, guys. I'm feeling it. It didn't want to, but yeah. And number 5, relax. It will all be okay. Aww. Okay. These are not traditional compliments, but maybe just more so just encouraging statements, if you will. Anyways, though, guys, as I said before, if you resonated with any of the messages, go ahead, check out the description below and select your pile. If you're interested in booking a personal reading with me after your reading and you really like it, please consider booking me. Links are in the description down below. And please like, comment, share, all that good stuff. It helps me out And also just spread a little bit of love today. I will see you at your pile. Take care. Hello, everyone. You have chosen group number 1 with the You Are Strong Enough. And these are going to be your messages today on what is your heart space trying to tell you? Interestingly enough, I had to get up and close the door because I realized, oh, people can overhear me. And what I noticed about you guys and your energy right off the bat, you're definitely in your headspace a lot. So whenever it comes to your heart, you keep it behind closed doors. You're definitely, I don't want to say you're a private person, but you definitely keep your matters of the heart private. What I feel is it's almost like you guys feel, I don't want to say in polite society, you're not really supposed to show what's up your sleeve. I don't know if you guys are a little bit more traditional, but I have this feeling where you just feel like it's inappropriate to share what's in your heart space. Again, it's kind of like you guys are so focused on like, well, okay, I have this reaction to this person, but I have to use my head first. And I don't know if you're going the wrong way about these situations, because it's almost like, okay, maybe you care about a person. Yeah, using your head is fine, but not when it comes to lighthearted conversation. Or there's just something about this group where there's a disconnect between your head and your heart. And when we talk about like the chakras, your throat chakra is, your throat, and that is the bridge between your head and your heart. And so there's something very stubborn about you guys just not wanting to talk. So even if you know what you're feeling, because we are always technically knowing what we're feeling, you guys aren't knowing in your head upstairs. It's like, it's just things are going on in your body and you're kind of like, I don't know what that's telling me. And something tells me that your mind-body relationship could probably use a little bit of work. All right, so we've got challenges. Make a decision, work on inner healing. Yeah, I don't know if you guys have been undergoing some challenges lately, or it's just, it feels like you're pushing an uphill battle anytime there's a matter of the heart. So whenever you're trying to, for example, make a decision, I'm feeling like you're churning and churning because your headspace knows what it wants to do and it knows what the correct path is, but the correct path is not in alignment with your truth. And so something in your heart keeps going, nope. And then you get mad at your heart space and your body and you're like, why aren't you doing the things I want you to do? And it's like, you're not making a decision. Right? And so like, then I see you guys spinning out and saying, oh, well, there's just something wrong with me. So then you go ahead and make a decision that is not good for you. And then it doesn't work out. And then you're like, why? Why didn't it work out for me? When it's like, well, your heart was pulling, and your body was pulling you in a different direction. So I feel like with challenges, you do have a hard time overcoming challenges simply because you're just not in alignment with your truth. You know what I mean? Like, obviously your truth, I feel like that phrase is thrown around a lot because truth is subjective, and I can hear you guys making very like intellectual arguments, but that doesn't matter when it comes to existential truth and who you are. And especially like your body is the one that's actually telling you what is going on with you, with your body. Your heart is going to be the first place. So say, for example, you're having digestive issues, bloating, or you're having cramps, or you're dealing with all kinds of other stuff. Your heart's the one that knows. Your heart's what's connecting you to the rest of your body. And some of you guys are going to get technical about it, but it's like, from a spiritual lens, as you make decisions, if you continue to exclude your heart as part of the matter, it's going to backfire. And so specifically, for example, you think accessing your heart takes work or you have to do something, and it's really just a matter of being, I feel like, again, because you guys are in your heart space, it's kind of like there's more feeling involved than what you're thinking. And it doesn't have to be like, especially when it comes to your decision, it's kind of like, okay, so Spirit is bringing to mind something that I do with my clients a lot. When it comes to testing what is your truth or what is your intuition telling you, what I often say is like, does this belong to me? Yes or no? Whatever your body immediately says, yes or no, and you can't I usually limit myself to 3 options. Yes, no, or somewhere in the middle. It doesn't have to be more this or more that. If it's unclear, fine. But if it's a yes or a no, that is your first initial reaction. And that's going to tell you a hell of a lot more if something's in alignment with you. You know what I mean? And, they talk about, like, if this isn't a hell yes, then I'm not going towards it. That's another gauge, but also I think not everybody operates under that lens. Yeah, maybe you guys are a little stubborn too. Moose definitely wants to be the star of the show constantly. And maybe that's something that you guys want to admit about yourself. Or maybe you're the opposite. Maybe you never know when to pull back. It seems like we have a little bit of a mixed bag here. Maybe you're inconsistent with that. All right, we've got sexuality. Someone is still figuring themselves out. Yeah, so what your heart's kind of trying to tell you right now is there's something that you don't want to disclose about your sexuality, either to your partners, to your parents, your siblings, your spouse. There's just something going on here. And this doesn't necessarily mean it has anything to do with being queer or trans or anything like that. This simply has to do with just being a sexual person. Maybe you are the type of person that will shy away from experimenting and doing things that you'd actually be sexually excite you. Or maybe you're just really repressed and you haven't even thought about things in a sexual way in a long time, either due to trauma or there's something to do with the fact that just your lower half of your body isn't really connected to your mind at all. So it's almost like because you're able to disconnect from your lower half, you're not always making the best decisions with your sexual partners because your body will tell you, is that person meant for you or not? And I think you'd be very surprised that if you started connecting with that piece of you, you would not be connecting with the people that you're connecting to right now. And I think that's where your heart is having this challenge, because whether it becomes about partnership or friendship, there's healing that needs to be done there, that because your sexuality has been excluded from the process of selecting a partner, especially if you're like sexually repressed or you're only allowed to express sexuality that is pleasurable to either only one gender or to a certain kind of way, it creates challenges for you. You're not authentically connecting with people in general. And it's kind of crazy because I'm literally even seeing with work, like if you are not connecting to yourself authentically at home, it's going to show up in all areas of your life. So that means if you have to hide something at home from yourself and the people that are important to you, you're definitely hiding things from your coworkers and limiting yourself and your abilities in all these different areas of your life. And I think, you're trying to just speed through to the finish line to be like, I want to get married. I want to get married. And it's like your heart is literally like, stop, because it's like you're racing to a finish line that you haven't even created the beginning of the race for. Because if you're not even connected with your lower half, then how are you expected to find the love of your life and have really great emotional connection and stuff when you're not even connected to yourself and to your body? You know what I mean? Like, I feel like this group definitely neglects the pleasure in their body, either due to systemic challenges, again, traumas. Maybe you had some health issues with your lower body. And then maybe gender plays a role as well. Because definitely when it comes to gender and sexuality, we, especially in the US right now, but also just as a global society, sexuality is a very taboo topic in certain communities. It's something that is used to control. And, and there's a lot of stuff out there that's really not promoting safe, healthy relationships. And so I think your heart is just aching for connection that's authentic to you, but you're not being authentic with yourself first. And so you can't find those people. And so you're finding other people that are also disconnected from their sexuality. So you're going to be, as long as you're closed off, you're not going to see that other people are closed off to you. It's kind of like sitting there expecting like, well, if I just find the right person to open the key lock in my heart, then it's all going to work out. And no offense, that's kind of a little bit of a wounded fantasy that's going on here, because there's no single key and there's no single lock out there. I'm sorry. It may feel like that for some things, but in the case of you, there's multiple challenges that are going on here. And again, if you're not connected to your body wholeheartedly, you're not going to be able to navigate authentic, pure energetic relationships, or not even just energetic relationships. It's just sexuality just has such a profound impact in so many areas of your life that it's not even hitting your heart space if you're already cutting yourself off at the stomach and not having confidence in your body's abilities. Even if you're older, you know what I mean? I feel like for some of you guys, you're like, well, I can't do the things like I used to. That doesn't matter. What actually gets you off with everyday living? Because sexuality also isn't just sex. It's also your relationship to creativity as well. Yeah, I might post a link to a blog post I made about the relationship between sex and creativity, because they're the same thing. We've got pregnancy. Someone is expecting. Ooh, ow. Okay, I definitely felt like something in your heart space. Maybe you guys wanted to have a child, or maybe you had a bad relationship in the past where you had a child with the wrong person. There's something about, I'm seeing like the heart in the stomach. You know what I mean? You externalize a lot of your heart space energy to other people instead of keeping it inside of yourself, right? It's almost like I'm looking at this pregnant belly with the heart, and it's like I just want to take the heart and move it back up here. But for some reason, it's got to stay here. So maybe you guys are staying in a relationship only because of the children. Or maybe you're operating focused on creating children, or some kind of like your passions and love are in a project or something that is just not inherent to you just existing. And I think that's really harmful for your heart space, because your head is the one pushing your heart there instead of moving it back into alignment. Because that's also too why you're self-conscious about certain things, is because if you're trying to mix your heart in relation to your confidence as a human being, it's going to backfire. Okay? And you're like, well, that doesn't make any sense, because when I'm very passionate, I'm confident, right? But that's because your confidence boosts your heart space further. You have to be able to survive first in order to access your heart. And again, your head then is coming in and trying to dictate it, when really they all build on each other, right? And so there's like a lack of supporting the heart space, which is why it's being pushed away from your head space. You're trying to externalize the love you have instead of just letting it sit inside of your body. And I feel like for some of you guys, this really isn't making sense. And a lot of it's because you're not experiencing true unconditional love for yourself, and you're just not experiencing it in your body and what it feels like. And you're like, okay, well, what does that literal feeling feels like in my body? And a lot of it is, I'd say it's kind of like a warmth that's inside of your chest, but it feels like you have a lot of energy. So for example, it's kind of like after you did a really great job, after doing something that you accomplished, or like after coming home from a really great date or spending time with family, and your heart feels really warm. You know what I mean? That's what you should be having access to. Not maybe necessarily at all times, but that should be kind of on a more regular basis than just only when you're around another person. And even still, when you're around other people, pay attention to where in your body you feel something. So even if this is about friendships and other relationships, especially like at your job, if you're constantly finding yourself slooping or like covering your chest or different motions like that, that's telling me you're not open to what's going on around you. Okay? And with pregnancy too, I feel like you guys have the ability to create things and you want to, but something is blocking that ability. And part of it's because your heart's not in the right place. You're trying to put your love into things so you can get confidence back in yourself, instead of doing things you love because you're confident in yourself. Okay, that took me a hot minute to get out there. So maybe sometimes you need to just like talk through this stuff, or just hype yourself up a bit more. And set boundaries. Three of Cups. Okay, so Three of Cups is telling me you need community. Okay, your heart space is saying, I want to connect with others. I want to have fellowship. I want to be true in my emotions around other people. So say, for example, like, for some reason, I heard something about, like, hot people. So, like, maybe, like, you're sitting with your friends and you're talking about someone who's attractive, right? And maybe there's an attractive person that's sitting right there. And you're thinking, man, that's a really attractive person. And your body's sitting there like, go talk to them. and you're like, no, 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 no. And you get in your head about it, and your feelings are like, you're going through all of these old recycled emotions instead of just that initial impulse of, hey, I really like that person. I'd like to get to know them. You know what I mean? Like, there's a very different energy between the back and forth of like, oh, I'm not good enough, but they're really cute. I need to put myself out there. It's like finding that steadiness and control within yourself to be like, hey, my heart is going to still remain intact regardless of if I talk to that person or not. I'm only doing it because that person lit me up. So I'm going to go walk over and talk to them and have a good time. And if not, it's okay. You know what I mean? And like, not coming from an ego place either. It's like, it's not coming from your head. It's coming from your chest, right? Because when you say it from your chest, that will feel activated to you. And you're like, what does that mean? And so like, think about it this way. I know like whenever I talk from my head, I'm usually feeling my head more than I'm feeling my chest. You know what I mean? Like, imagine if you're giving a speech to somebody about something that's really important to you, that you're going to feel in your chest a whole hell of a lot more than in your head, if that makes sense. And if anything, practice in the mirror. Practice what it feels like when you're just giving a speech for work or for a project versus something you really want to talk about. Ace of Pentacles, yeah. So for some of you guys, your heart is telling you to work on your financial situation a bit more and just have more confidence. You know what I mean? I feel like money does impact your heart a little bit just from the standpoint of it's either limiting you from being able to do the things you want to do, or you need to let go of the constant like reassurance and validation that money gives you. It doesn't matter about how much money you're receiving because you can still connect to your heart regardless of how much money you have, you know? And again, maybe your favorite thing that lights your heart up is traveling a lot or doing equestrian things or stuff that's like really expensive. And then right now you just can't financially afford that. You can find other ways to connect to your heart space. It's not like there's just one thing. And I think like you guys are limiting yourselves by trying to focus solely on, well, if this thing I build or this project I do doesn't work out, then it's over. My heart's broken and whatever. You know what I mean? It's kind of like your heart's more resilient than that. Don't let money determine and influence how you live your best life or how you connect to your heart space. Because the connecting to your heart space is what's going to influence your outer world. Right? It's about, like, again, your heart space is about your existence, your ability to integrate your existence with the world around you. And so that's why when we talk about like Buddha and all the people that are like, you know, basically roaming the world without any money, you know what I mean? It's like, well, we need money to live, but at the same time, part of the experience is taking in life, you know, and life force and finding joy in whatever you need. And some of you guys are just addicted to the idea of chasing a passion and thinking that's what connecting to your heart is about, when it's like your heart space won't be moving that desperately. Because if you're feeling desperate versus hungry, like there's a different vibe to it. And I think some of you guys can't really, you're still navigating the difference. And finally, we've got the moon in reverse. Yeah, I feel like there's some shadow aspects that you're still working towards fixing. Or maybe not fixing. Fixing seems like the wrong word, but maybe that's what you're trying to do when your heart space is like, I'm always going to have shadows. You know what I mean? Like, it's kind of like, yeah, you are going to care about people that don't treat you right. You are going to have feelings that in thoughts that you're not supposed to. You know what I mean? And I think the fact that you believe that those are never going to occur is hurting your heart, because then you're not accepting the wholeness of your humanity. Right? That's where that thinking brain's really getting in the way, because it's trying to be structured and be like, well, all I can do is try to achieve and get as close to perfection as possible. And it's like, that is a process that requires this release. Because the more you deny a shadow aspect of yourself or tell it that it doesn't belong in the system of your whole aspects, the further away from perfection you're going to get. Right? Because true perfection is complete unity and oneness with the universe. So when you're denying aspects of yourself because you've determined a piece of you to be more or less pure than the rest, that is not a holistic view of everything, right? And so it's kind of a double entendre, but I hope you guys are kind of understanding that true divinity lives in an oxymoron, where both things will always exist and enter within itself, right? Because your darkness will expose the light and the light will expose the darkness and vice versa. Some of you guys, this isn't making sense, but I want to keep moving forward so this message doesn't take too long. I'm becoming a better person. I look for you everywhere, and I feel you leaving me behind. Yeah, I think your heart, maybe you're like searching for somebody right now to complete you, and I think like that's back to the shadow aspect of completion, where you're looking for aspects of yourself to develop, but you're not looking authentically in your heart. So you're not going within and feeling it around and mulling with that within yourself. So instead you're dating and getting into relationships with people that highlight what's already inside of you, but you're wasting more time with relationship and focusing on them instead of going like, well, hold up. If I would have known that I already had this powerful vibe inside of me, right? Why did I have to go and spend years chasing after this person when they were just reflecting myself back to me? If I would have known that I had that inside of me, I wouldn't have even needed to go into this toxic cycle, because I would have just been able to see, that is what reminds me of me. Not discarded and disregarded that person's shadows and human aspects, that they were being honest with me by showing me with their behavior. So now I'm pissed at said person instead of understanding that I was projecting myself onto them. And this is the group, this is where the head and the heart conflict creates a lot of projection and churn, because you're relating to the world in a way, you're thinking without feeling, and that integration is not happening. With the I'm becoming a better person, the first thing I'd tell you right now, y'all, stop trying to become a better person. Stop. Okay? You are already at the best place possible for yourself right now. And you're like, but that doesn't have anything to do with self-improvement. It's like, it doesn't matter. Okay? Like when it comes to your heart space, you have to be simultaneously okay with who you are at all moments and times of being, while simultaneously working on yourself. Okay? That's where the oxymoron comes in. And that's where you are ignoring the heart, where you can say, I can still love myself in this current state of being, regardless of if it's beneficial to me or not. That's what's missing. Because everybody that you can improve, you can improve on your behavior, but guess what? You can't sit there and grow a third limb. Okay? You can't sit there and willfully make yourself be free of cancer or whatever. Some people can, but a majority of us can't. And the I look for you everywhere, again, that is more so highlighting the lack of consideration of being within yourself first, then looking outside. Because if you went from inside out and started navigating the world from that point of view, you're going to see the world around you shift and change tremendously. And with the I feel you leaving me behind, yeah, I feel like your heart feels like you're always leaving it behind. You're always discarding it. You're like, well, okay, my heart betrayed me in the past last time, so I'm not going to listen to it this time. What is even the point of that? Why can't you go back and talk to your little heart and hold it in your little hands and go, hey, I missed you. Where did you go? Because if you're not checking in with your heart and creating a relationship with it, someone else is going to come in and fill that space. And that's continuing to happen. You're letting other people's problems, other issues, all these things fill the space that your heart's supposed to be. Side note, you guys may be having a unexpected visitor stop by. Yeah, with the I'm becoming a better person, I think you should just be open to the surprises of life and understand that you can't control your way into a better outcome. I know the world teaches you that all the time. And yeah, you can influence your situation to an extent, but I think you guys over exaggerate the amount of control that you have and undervalue how much the rest of society follows a system that allows you to believe that you have this much control. Okay? It's a belief system to make you feel safe. But if a giant tornado came in and destroyed your whole living situation, if somebody came in and absolutely drained your finances, if there's so many things that could happen, were all of the things that you did as best as possible. Getting a cancer diagnosis. You know, there's all these things that could literally alter your life in an instant. And you can say, but why me? But this and this and this. Like, if you're connected to your heart, you're always going to be steady and constant in your reminder of who you are as a person, and that you don't need to be better to be loved unconditionally. And that's where I don't think that feeling of love connects, because you're thinking it's just a chemical reaction or it's a physical reaction in your body instead of looking at it from the spiritual space, because you're in your head and you won't experience it until you connect to it. We got skywriting, the fates. Yeah. Some of you guys, you're getting pulled towards something way bigger than yourself. And you have no idea what's going on. You're scared as shit. Maybe you're like, man, I really need to talk to somebody about this because I don't know who to turn to. My heart space is calling me in a direction that I didn't think I was supposed to be in. And if I go that direction, I have no idea what's going to happen. But that's the journey. That's your heart telling you where you need to go. Your heart knows more about your fate and where you're supposed to end up way more than your brain does. You know what I mean? Like, if you go to a place and it feels like home, that's where you're meant to be. It doesn't have to be complicated. Some of you guys are so focused on the death of your past, of a version of you, instead of letting go and just letting your body guide you. It's so important that you do that, because your body is what's going to tell your brain what you need. So if your body's like, yep, this is all good, then your brain says, okay, I'm going to go ahead and then make this thing possible. Some of you guys are in jobs, relationships that you shouldn't even be in. Why are you even bothering doing that, you know? I'm like, you guys aren't doing it for the right reasons. And you're like, well, what about finances? You're smart, you'll figure it out. You can't operate on your most authentic path if you're not being authentic, if you're not being in your truth. It wastes so much time, money, and energy. You know what I mean? Covering up and trying to fit into whatever. You don't have time for that, guys. We're here for very short, definite point of time, and you don't even know how long you're going to be here. So why are you waiting for tomorrow to tell that person how much you love them? Why are you waiting to start that business or start that book or start that creative endeavor? Go do it now. If you can't do it, okay. Move on to the next thing. Like there's no one singular guide to life, and I think you guys, it's coming from a place of fear, but you're calling it being rational. And I think that's why you're so scared to get into your heart space, is because somebody told you that, oh, well, this is just being logic. And I was like, no. It's not. You can argue with me, but it's really not. If you ask your heart space, you're going to know that you're two different people, and you're operating like this instead of like this. Heart, body, mind, spirit, and soul. Moon Maiden, new beginnings. Yeah, I think your heart space is trying to indicate to you that it's time for a new beginning. To start looking at the horizon instead of in your past. And that you're emerging into somebody new. And it's going to be scary. It's like giving birth, you know, where it's a little bit messy and it's gross. And it's going to be painful at times. But then when you finally reach the other side, it's just going to be blissful, calm, and peaceful in moments. And then there will be moments where it is difficult. But you're no longer going to be questioning your values or where you fit in or whatever. It's just going to be a level of acceptance that you've been needing for a really long time. And your heart's aching for that acceptance of just understanding that, like, yeah, I can control these things, but I can't control these things that used to hurt me anymore. And then you go from I am becoming to I am. And that's it. That's all you got to do. I know it sounds simple, it's hard, but that's it. Woodwives, adaptability. Yeah, okay, yeah, this card is all about the shadow aspects and looking at the disowned pieces of you. If you want to get more in touch with your heart space, this is your final overarching message. Clear up your relationship with shame, with your body, your brain, and how it works, your ego, and your spirit. Okay? Stop believing that the only way to survive and to be successful is to do what everyone else is doing, to what your parents did, to what your mother or father said you needed to do. Yeah, because you're someone special and unique to you. And the more you take in messages of what other people tell you instead of listening to your heart first, you're constantly going to get drawn away, and it's going to distract, it's going to pull you away. And it's just, you're pulling yourself back, back into messes that you don't belong in. And it's a journey in itself, but like spirit wants more for you. And your heart wants more for you. Your body's telling you this isn't working, it's not okay. So, instead of blaming the world, ask yourself, well, why am I in a place that's like this? And there's only so much you can control, obviously, of your circumstances, but when you start to actually look at your own patterns and you start to observe how you're feeling inside, you're going to realize, maybe it wasn't necessarily the external circumstances. It was really about who I was hanging out with. It was how I was talking towards other people. Maybe my mind isn't the best safe place for me sometimes. And I want to be around people that are okay when I make mistakes, instead of always trying to look to me to guide them through everything. Sometimes I feel like you guys are like authoritarian a little bit, or maybe you're like the person that people look to for answers on things, instead of just saying, hey, you guys can actually figure it out on your own. And you don't need to be making decisions for everybody else, because you got to be doing it for you. All right? Especially, like, when other people are involved, I understand you got to take care of a group of people, but damn, like, listen to your heart, mind, and body first. Okay? Anyways, thank you guys so much for watching this video today. Please like, comment, subscribe. Look at all the links in the description below, and I will see you all next time. Take care. Hello, everyone. You have chosen group number 2. I am so proud of you. And these are going to be your messages of what is your heart trying to tell you. Oh, wow. I'm going to tell you all right now, the word I was hearing in my heart was, this is my suicidal pile. Or, even if you've never made an attempt or didn't have the thoughts, there's definitely an energy of like you self-sabotage to a point where there was a lot of self-destruction. There was a lot of either backlash from other people. And I just want to say you guys have such a strong heart and such a strong will to live regardless of your own capacity to harm. Because I really don't feel like your self-harm, like, even when you get down to the root of it, it wasn't intentional. And I think that's what your heart's trying to tell you, is that because you learned bad habits, you didn't know what to do, that didn't stop you from healing or trying to heal. And I think that's where your heart's literally like, I'm so proud of you that you didn't give in just because you were hurting yourself. And you didn't know how you were going to get out, but you kept going. And I'm very, very proud of you. And I know maybe you guys are sick and tired of hearing that, maybe from your head and your body and all these other people. And you're just like, I just want the pain to stop. But for this pile, you guys already made it through the worst of it, and I'm really happy to be able to tell you guys that. Yeah, I don't know. I just feel like laughter is really important to you guys, because it's like, I think during these really dark times, or when you were at your worst, you're gonna look back on it. I don't want to say laugh. I mean, some of the things you did, yeah, you're gonna laugh at yourself, but like, not obviously at the super dark stuff. But I feel like to you guys, knowing who's responsible for what, owning the fact that, especially like when it comes to your mental health, you don't always have control over that. Especially like when messed up things happen to you. I think there needs to be an acknowledgement to be like, hey, I wasn't okay because messed up things happened to me. And that were out of your control, not your fault. You know what I mean? It's like, it's kind of like I imagine like if your body has a bad reaction to a medication that you took that was supposed to help you, and then it causes damage, permanent damage, it's like, yeah, your natural reaction is you're not going to handle it like a normal human being. You're going to get mad. It's kind of like the people that they glorify having a graceful death, for example, where it's like, you know, if like the elderly person who's been having Alzheimer's and is in a lot of pain, if they start getting nasty towards the end of their life, like you're judging that person when that's a normal, healthy response to what's going on. It's not okay that they're taking things out on other people or that they're angry or upset, but like, well, okay, no, I'm sorry, I misspoke. Basically, the feelings are valid. You know what I mean? And obviously saying messed up things to people isn't okay, but at the same time, you also have to understand that if a person's not fully there, they don't always have control of their body, mind, and behavior. Especially if you're struggling with a mental illness. Okay? And I think like your heart just wants you to acknowledge that in your heart, you're all there. All the time. And sometimes your brain is going to tell you things that aren't true. And that's why you shouldn't always be listening to it. Because sometimes, especially if you got a mental illness, maybe you've got a really great life, and you're still sitting there going like, wow, everything in my life is positive and great. I still want to throw myself off the roof of a building. That can be scary and traumatic. To have those intrusive thoughts. But remember, your thoughts don't dictate all of you. And it's important to remember to have grace when it feels like, oh, I haven't healed enough, I need to continue to fix. And it's like, it's more churn when your body really needs you to acknowledge that, one, that you have a heart, and that your heart is made up of so much more love and positivity than your brain can fathom when you start touching it. You know, I don't mean like literal, but you could do that, you know? I know sometimes I'm always rubbing my heart whenever I'm like, hey, I don't feel anything in there. And it's like, nope, I'm still here. I'm not a sociopath. There's something beaten in here. And then sometimes I know for myself, I get like anxiety whenever I don't feel a very strong heartbeat. So then I'm like, oh my God, I'm gonna die. And then it like elevates my anxiety. And it's like, dude, just... Yeah, with the word proud, maybe sometimes you guys are too proud to admit when you're hurting, and it caused you to really get... It really caused a rift between yourself and your body because of the fact that you're trying to pretend like you don't feel anything. Maybe you're trying to be a hero, and you're like, a hero doesn't have feelings, or like... It's like you can only place your feelings and emotions in certain categories or areas of your life. So it's like the only time I can be passionate is towards sports, or towards making a difference in the world, or towards a specific person, instead of being like, well, I could also just be alive. And then I'm passionate about everything. I'm passionate about being alive. And then when you realize that you don't have to concentrate it in one particular area, it's going to release up all this extra emotion and feeling towards all areas of your life. So then suddenly you're not expelling all this energy towards one area and then neglecting the rest. Now, again, if you're dysregulated and have a mood disorder or mental health stuff, you're always going to be struggling with ups and downs and getting triggered and whatever. But like, the point is though, is that your energy is not going to be so in flux because you're not sitting there being like, I gotta survive today. Oh, I gotta make love to my girlfriend, or like, oh, I gotta do this and that. You know what I mean? Like, there's a lot of like running around in chaos internally that's gone on with you. And that's where, once again, your heart is saying, I'm so proud of you for not giving up on me despite all of this, because a lot of other people don't deal with this kind of stuff. Like, you guys are special, pile number 2, because you made it, you know, and you are dealing with worse things than a lot of other people, because if you don't even know how to navigate your inner world, like, that is kind of the worst case scenario, because all you got is you. You know what I mean? And it doesn't matter, because I feel like there's a lot of, in your head, you're like, oh, well, that's not true. Other people definitely have it worse than me, and blah, 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 blah. And it's like, it doesn't matter, because of the standpoint that you need to rely on you first. And if you can't rely on you, then that's going to be a problem. And there's a lot of gaslighting that the society does, is they try to push everything on like, you should be doing things all by yourself and be self-sufficient, or there's something wrong with you. And it's like, I can't choose my genetics. I can't choose my body. I can't choose what it does. Like people, I feel like you guys get reactions from people for maybe like pile one, where there's a lot of like this firm belief that people have control over everything. And as a response to that, like you guys shame your body, your mind, and your spirit, when the fact that it's like, you just don't work like everybody else. And yeah, maybe you have some kind of a mental health disorder. It doesn't matter. It doesn't mean like you're running around doing crazy things. I mean, like sometimes you might be, but like your heart's just trying to remind you that it's like, hey, I'm still a person. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. Like I'm even thinking about like with autistic people, for example, it's like just because someone's autistic and struggles with social skills doesn't mean they don't have feelings. They're a human being, you know, and maybe that's what your heart's trying to remind you is like, you're still a person, regardless of if you're struggling to figure out what that looks like for you. But like, you're a sentient being that deserves being cared about. Like, you're you. Damn, guys. All right, pets. Getting a new pet, giving current pet more love. Yeah, maybe you guys love animals. Maybe, I don't know, I was immediately thinking of like furries for some reason. There's just some kind of like an animalistic primal thing to you guys that I think, like I was saying before, like whatever you relate to is what you use to relate to yourself. Because right now, I just feel like there's pieces of you that you're not going to have enough time in your lifetime to unpack why you do certain things the way that you do. I think you guys have spent a lot of time either intellectualizing, self-harming, that you just, you deserve to just spend your life as who you are. Go enjoy your Comic-Con convention, go be a furry, go do whatever you need to do that makes your heart feel full. Okay? It makes you feel like a full person. And if it means pretending like you're not a person for a bit, fine. You want to dress up like an alien, go for it. Like, I think there's just, like, something that your heart needs to receive, some kind of a validation, that if being a person is too hard, and again, I say being a person, like, again, whatever that means to you, it's okay to be a different version of yourself for a little bit. It's just don't regress into the self-harm. But don't be mad at yourself if that happens. Like, there needs to be, like, a balance of acceptance here. That your heart is trying to say, hey, I'm still here. I don't want you to hurt. And, like, we're in this together regardless. You know? I think, like I said, there's just a sturdiness inside of you that is not going to give up on you. And I know that's hard when your brain is saying certain things. But like I said, your heart's different. Your heart's not the same as your head. And remember, you also inherit a lot of this stuff too. You know, kids are not born suicidal and self-harming. And so you're like, well, what do I do to stop self-harming? And that's when you talk to a professional. Definitely this group, please make sure if you've not talked about these sorts of things with a therapist, if you can afford to do so, please do. There's also links in the description down below for who you can contact if you are still frequently suicidal or just need talking through. Like, the thing is with, like, suicidal energy, though, guys, like, self-harm energy is a very common reaction to difficulties that happen throughout our lives. It's way more common than you guys believe. And I'm not even saying this having worked in the mental health profession. It's just the fact that, like, it's so common in society, it's just taboo. That's why we don't really talk about it, because people try to put moral judgment on it instead of being like, mental health, sometimes our brain just does things. And you can't control people if you tell people, like, well, your brain just did that. You know what I mean? You know? Someone else in the middle, someone trying to sabotage this. Ooh. I'm definitely feeling, this is like hitting me right in the third eye. Wow, or like just straight in my forehead. I don't know if you guys are in love with somebody that you're not with. Maybe this is someone you know who's meant for you, but you don't know how to connect with them or communicate with them. So you try to date people that are easier for you to understand. I feel like you sabotage what you want because you're afraid that you're going to lose it, or you're afraid that someone else is going to take it away, or you know what I mean? Like there's this energy of like, oh, uh, how do I even admit these feelings? Yeah, maybe that's what you're having a hard time doing. Is it's kind of like, say you saw something that you really really wanted, and you can't admit that to yourself because it means you have to let go of the reality that someday they're going to go away, or you're watching them be happy. You feel someone's going to be happier with someone else than you. And I feel like maybe you're watching someone you love with somebody else, but your heart's always meant for that person. I feel like your heart just wants you to acknowledge that in your little world, in your realm, that's what your heart wants. And I think you have a problem with seeing that person with somebody else. Especially if you know they love that person. Maybe you had a connection with someone and it's over. Maybe you're trying to get someone's attention and they don't love you back. I think there's something about you being alone that you're too proud to admit that you're scared to be alone and away from this person. And I think like there's such a deep rejection wound in this pile that you'd rather sabotage what's good for you and what makes you happy than releasing the wound. Because if you're sabotaging, then you're always going to be connected to that person. And I feel like your heart's wanting you to let go of this connection, only from the simple standpoint that if they're meant for you, they're going to come back. You know what I mean? And you're like, well, do I have control over that? And yes and no. But I think trying to accept this person and accept your situation will be more beneficial than looking for somebody else right now. I think being perfectly honest, like I think maybe some of you guys you're trying to date other people when your heart is set on someone else. And so maybe your heart is set on someone that's not meant for you. But you need to figure out what is meant for you and put yourself back into that position. So that way, when a person that is meant for you comes back to you or towards you, you're reflecting the right energy back to them. I don't know. I'm seeing like there's like a man on the ground from my Archangel Michael statue. Like there's something about, I think you need to give in to the fact that your heart has more power than your mind does on accepting what's best for you. Okay. Oh, that was important. I'm going to repeat that. Your ego and your mind needs to understand that sometimes your heart knows better of what's for you than your brain does. And that's why it hurts so much. And I think that's where you need to let go of this fantasy that love's supposed to be this perfect, non-messy, linear thing when it's like, we're human. And that's the piece of you that you're rejecting. Because it's like, well, give it a shot. You know? That's part of your healing. Like, if you never use your heart when you're making decisions, and you're only using your head, you're never going to get anywhere with people. And I know you want to be happy, but, like, you just see this image of two people happy together. But you've never been in that dynamic where you're actually sitting next to that person and thinking to yourself, wow, we are equals. And everyone talks about how great it is, but like you're not putting your heart in that space. Again, you're just watching other people, so that's why you stay arm's length away. You're like, okay, well, I'll date just good enough, but you never actually, like, I don't think you guys date with your heart space, guys. And I get it, because, like, clearly you guys have been going through some shit. But, your heart space is what's also keeping you going. You know what I mean? Like, you're not just journaling about people and things just to just dump random things that are coming from nowhere. It's like, that's you. You know what I mean? Like, there's this disconnect from who you actually are. Yeah, like, again, you're a person. Um, yeah. Like, it's not like, you're not in the background. You know what I mean? Like, it's like half of you's not even fully here. And it's okay if it's going to take some time to get back to that, but, like, start understanding that that's even going on. You know, because your body, like, again, I'm seeing Archangel Michael's chest, like, you can't lie to what's in your heart, guys. So let go. Make room for the new beginning on its way to you now. Yeah. Maybe you guys started a new life and it backfired. Maybe you tried to sleep with someone you shouldn't have, and it caused a lot of chaos and destruction. That somebody else, I feel like you guys are, like, blaming somebody else for why your life's messed up, instead of owning where your heart space is at right now. And it's like a war between your head and your heart, when really, like, you're just focused on everything else but your heart. And I think you need to let go. I think you need to understand that you need to come back to center. And I don't know. I feel like you guys struggled with letting go because that means you have to let go of this person or this dynamic. Because maybe there's an addiction cycle here. Maybe there's, like, I think you guys are just afraid to begin again. Like, maybe you're like, oh, that person's the love of my life, but, like, I can't let go of the fact that someday there's some kind of a purpose here. You know what I mean? Like, you're like, I can't get away from them. I don't want to, but, like, it hurts so bad. And this pile, like, I don't feel like you got, like, this pile feels legit. This doesn't feel like stalker energy. It doesn't feel like the insecure thing. It's literally like, I have to let go of who I thought I was. I have to let go of the power that my mind has and just let my heart do the talking for once. And just let it be. Not force it to do anything else. Yeah, I'm thinking of a specific situation in my life where I loved somebody really, really strongly, and I didn't heal from that situation. I could not make room for new people coming in because I resented the fact that I had feelings in the first place for that person. I didn't even know that I had feelings for that person, but I kind of did, but it was, like, really unclear because there was trauma and all these other things. But, like, because I didn't make room for new people to come in, I let go of a lot of opportunity to shape myself into a person that I would have rather been in that space and time. But the point is I have to let go of even that cycle because I'm here now. And I still got messages, and spirit still guided me to where I needed to go anyway. Like, I know I'm still going to be happy at the end of the day after overcoming these things. So what am I holding on to? And there's something about, like, your back, like, you're afraid to come back fully. You're afraid to continue your story. And I just want to say I'm so proud of you for doing the work to even get to this point. Because you're gonna let go. Because you're not giving up. And that's what your heart wants you to know. Because it's on you now. You know? You don't have to rely on other people anymore. And maybe you look different now. Maybe your body isn't what it used to be or what you want it to look like. And that's just where, like, accept it. If you're in love with this person, you're in love with this person. And then that's just it. There doesn't have to be a relationship. There doesn't have to be control. But just, I'm sorry, don't mess up on something that could harm you down the road. Because I feel like betraying someone you care about and trust just because you don't want to let go of the past doesn't serve anybody. And it doesn't serve this person, especially if they feel the same. I wish things could be different. I want you. I knew exactly what I was doing. I left you before you could leave me. Yeah, I mean, all of this is pretty straightforward, but I wish things could be different. I think that's what's causing your heart some trauma. Because, you know, for example, like maybe you had issues with your parents growing up, or maybe you were like, wow, I was supposed to be married by now, or I was supposed to have this relationship with this person, and then everything fell apart and blew up spectacularly. And now I'm traumatized and I'm different. Or like, again, maybe you got a diagnosis, or maybe there's like some type of world shattering information that came to light. Whatever it is though, like, you're still a person and you're gonna keep on living. You know? With the I want you, like, if you want it, then you want it. Why are you telling yourself you're not supposed to want something if that's authentic to you? Because again, you're going to feel it, like I was telling the other pile. If this is your heart talking, you're going to feel it in your chest. This isn't going to come from like your head and whatever. You're going to feel it in your chest and you're like, ooh. You know what I mean? It's kind of like when you're sitting there like, oh, that's my person. Like, you feel like it's in you. You know what I mean? You're not just whatever. And I knew exactly what I was doing. I think like you guys, a piece of you knows what you're doing. Like, you know that you're sabotaging this intentionally because you're trying to protect your heart space. But your heart's saying, this isn't protecting me. It's protecting you, but it's not protecting your heart. And your heart's going to get broken if you don't let this go. Again. Because I left you before you could leave me is... If that's the girl of your dreams, if that's the boy of your dreams... and you left, why not go back? I don't know. And it's like, I left you before. I don't know. There's just some kind of an energy of like, just something happened between you and this other person that like, your heart isn't gonna let go of this connection until you understand it from your heart space, not from your head space. Sorry, this reading's a little bit long. I gotta keep moving through these cards. But I feel like you just want to just talk for hours about this situation. And it's like, you're not letting it go by talking about it. You're not letting it go by exercising or working and what. Go be with this person. Sit and talk with them. I don't feel like this person's passed on. And if they're with someone else, then maybe just say, hey, can we schedule a phone call? Because I think this other person really needs to know where you're at. I really don't like, and this is something about society that drives me nuts, but like there's kind of like this stigma that like if you really love somebody, if they're with someone else you shouldn't tell. No, like even if they're with someone else, I think if you genuinely within your heart have feelings towards someone, you should let them know. Because there's a huge difference between trying to sabotage the relationship that they chose. That's different. That's trying to ruin a marriage. But if you genuinely just love the shit out of somebody, you really can't go wrong. I mean, like, yeah, it can if you handle it poorly, but like, there really isn't a good reason to be mad at someone if you're being authentic and real. If someone does create a fuss about something like that, then they don't love you back. And that's where you're trying to protect yourself from that. But like, I really don't feel like this is a scenario where you should betray your heart space with your authenticity. If you get hurt, so what? I think you just need to let this person know how you feel. I'm just saying. You've got the world... Nope. 10 of Wands in reverse. Yeah, but I definitely saw it as the world. Yeah, Ten of Wands, I'm just feeling like you're stopping a cycle from completing and moving to the next one by not acknowledging what your heart wants. And even if it's not about a person, to some of you guys, like I feel like maybe you want to move to a new city, or maybe you want to build something. Like I'm seeing like a castle, right? And it's kind of like you're right on the edge of your journey. You know what I mean? But like your journey's not over, but you're like, it's like at the end of a chapter and you can't flip the page without this person. You know what I mean? It's kind of like watching a TV series and you're like, well, what happened between you and so and so? And you're stalling. Because you're too proud. You're too proud to admit that you love this person. Jeez, guys, this is hurting me. And I think like you're hurting yourself. Mr. and Miss Self-Harm. Ace of Cups in reverse. Yeah, all of this. I'm feeling like you guys also have a blocked throat chakra as well. So it's like you're usually close-lipped on about a lot of stuff to protect yourself. But when it comes to matters of the heart, because that's what we're focusing on, you need to let some of this out to this person. Or let this out in a way that actually connects to your body. So even if, for example, you can't talk to this person right now, or maybe you haven't decided the right words yet, write a song about it. Sing your favorite song. Like find a way that you get that energy flowing in your chest. Even doing like there's like some different humming exercises where you're like, or like doing chest voice. You know, chest voice might help you too. But I think even like talking to yourself with the mirror about this person can also help you let things go too. We got the Ten of Cups in reverse. Yeah, maybe you wanted to have a family with this person and you're like grieving. There's something was lost but wasn't. I don't know. I feel like you found a version of yourself out there. And I think that's what's more important than the relationship itself. You know? And there's just something about what it taught you is that you can come together with a person, or like you can, like there's something coming in between you and another person that isn't one person's fault. I'm feeling I think just being able to acknowledge that you can experience that is close enough. I don't know, I keep hearing like, let go. You're not saying what you feel, and I'm like, I don't know. I struggle with this too. This is why I'm doing the reading, okay? The High Priestess. I feel like this is supposed to be upright. Yeah, your intuition is guiding you back to talk about a situation that wasn't healed. And with the owl here, I feel like you're receiving some divine wisdom. I think you're going to be guided towards a message. Maybe this message. But there's definitely some kind of like an ego death that's going to occur, and you're going to transform as a result of this connection and this unity within yourself first. I think once you like unify within yourself, the relationship part's gonna not be a problem. Because you're either gonna be with the right person or not, but the relationship dynamic between you and this other person is gonna conclude. Because you're not gonna be hurting anymore. With the pomegranate in this person's hand, I just feel like there's a lot of divine feminine. Well, I was about to say masculine, but I was like, pomegranates are related with the feminine. But the masculine, I feel like, I don't know, there's something about like masculine energy being released in a way that you can feel detached from a healthy space instead of trying to cut your heart out of the equation. You know what I mean? It's kind of like, okay, I was maybe married to somebody, or maybe this person was supposed to be my spouse. And now there's not this like cross or cutting between us. It's just the connection's gone. You know what I mean? Or like just the pressure and the pain and all that other stuff. It's just kind of like, I'm here. I can be in my masculine energy, but still connect to my heart space again. Because the masculine connection to the heart is different than the feminine. And again, take whatever gender thing applies. I hope you guys know what I'm talking about. Because again, this isn't about like explicit gender. This is literally though, I'm just seeing you guys like, you're gonna feel safe in your heart space again. You know what I mean? There's going to be protection in your heart where it's not going to be the end of the world if you lose somebody. Will it hurt? Absolutely. but like you're no longer gonna feel the weight and burden of this relationship not working for you. Or working for you, for some of you. I don't know, there's something you're not saying. Because it's like, for me, it just feels so much easier to say it's not going to work out instead of saying it is going to work out. And I think you guys don't want to admit that. I'm sorry, I don't want to say that this message is taking too long, but like, I'm trying, guys. Mary Magdalene, the apostle to the apostles. I was going to say the apostole to the apostoless. I am the bridge between heaven and earth. I'm fully human and fully divine. Yeah, this is Jesus's mom. I was like, are you guys into virgins? I don't know. There's just something that, like, I feel like you guys are gonna, like... I think this relationship with this person, like, maybe you guys were, like, having sex really early, or you were having relationships with people that you weren't connected to a more divine direction. I don't know. I think you've just grown in such a way now that with this person, you're gonna be a different person. Like, it's literally going to be like you're a virgin. You know what I mean? Again. And that's going to be kind of strange for some of you guys, but it's okay. Because, like, when you've not been yourself for such a long time, getting back with a person that's fully in alignment and ignites that authenticity in you. Oh, I was feeling... I was feeling that in my chest, jeez. It's not going to matter. You know what I mean? Gender's not going to matter. I feel like your definition of love's not going to matter. It's just going to be so harmonious when you're in connection with spirit and other people again, because you're going to be there. And I was going to be like, you are going to be there. Pile number 2. Ariadne? Maybe Ariana Grande significant here? I don't know. Mistress of the Labyrinth. Ooh, mistress. Maybe you guys had a mistress. Or this is your mistress? Oh no. My soul knows the way, and the only way is through. Ah, no! Oh god, I'm already immediately thinking of... I had that exact advice from somebody a long time ago, and here it is. All of these synchronicities just... Wow. Okay. Mistress of the Labyrinth. Yeah, there's something with the identity of mistress too, where it's kind of like there's something taboo about this connection or this person. And like, I think you need to get over the fact that they're not going to be the one your parents wanted you to be with. They're not going to be the person that you devote your life to in the ways that you thought you were. Maybe this person's smart or thinks differently than you, or maybe they see clearer than you. With this halo, I feel like you're not gonna be idolizing a person anymore. You're gonna see this person in such a raw, real way that even if they're like the most beautiful person that you've ever seen, you're not gonna notice because they're always gonna be a person back to you. Because just like you weren't feeling like a person most of the time, this is going to be a person that makes you also feel like a person. And that's what's going to make you just completely light up and explode, is not because, I mean, like, yeah, maybe they happen to be attractive or you're very attracted to them, but like, it's not coming from the energy of who they are. I mean, it's coming from spirit. You know what I mean? And like with the Labyrinth, I feel like as you navigate life, you're always going to be going through a maze. You know, life is a maze, and it's amazing. And with this person, I feel like it's kind of like, I can see you guys definitely like, instead of like trying to get through the rat race and whatever, you're going to be like, oh, I want to do it with this person. You know? And again, I keep talking about like another person, but I really do feel like some of you guys got hurt and you're just not with your person yet. And it's okay. You know, don't be hurting yourself about that, because this person is wonderful and amazing, but not because of what you were told about them or what you saw. There's just something, when you see it, you're going to know. You know what I mean? Your body always knows, you know, what's meant for you. And if it's time for you, then it's time for you. Don't listen to society and your little gremlins. I was going to call them man gremlins, and I was like, why are they man gremlins? We got Lakshmi, the goddess of abundance. Ooh, that's a good deity to show up. I choose to feel abundant. Wealth is an inside job. Ooh, yeah. So some of you guys, you may need to forego your ideas of glitz and glamour. About this connection. I am seeing with like all of the fancy jewelry and stuff like that. I feel like this person represents wealth and abundance to you, but like when I just slipped up there and said I chose to feel abundant, I feel like you guys chose money over something authentic and real for you. And you made that mistake in the past. And then you're sitting there wondering, like, why was I hurt? You know what I mean? And I think, like, the wealth that comes from, like, the wealth comes from the experience with this person. And I think maybe you guys are a little self-conscious because there may be a wealth gap, or maybe there's, like, an heir. Maybe you're dating an heiress. I don't know. Or somebody that comes from money. And I think, like, you're gonna learn a better appreciation for what wealth and community feels like, simply because, like, I feel like when you let go of the idea that money always needs to be brought to the table in connections with people, I think that's when real money is going to start flowing back to you. Because I think right now your heart has been at war with reality, and for you guys, love and politics and money and business and all this other shit, it blinded you from the truth that human connection is real. You just haven't been around it lately. Oh, I want to give you guys such big hugs. I really hate this energy for you. My heart is like aching for you guys. I hate channeling this. Oh, all right, Green Terra. Oh my gosh, maybe someone like Star Trek. I'm seeing like the green lady from Star Trek. Green Terra, the Buddha of enlightened action. My soul informs my every step. I do what my heart compels me to do. Yeah, that's pretty straightforward. I mean, like, that's literally the whole reading, you know? And I'm seeing with these flowers, too. Like, I'm thinking of somebody in particular that I have always wanted to put flowers in his hair. And maybe that's what you should start doing, guys. Snakes might be significant as well. Kundalini energy, do some Kundalini work. But I'm also seeing with the finger. Oh, that's dirty. Okay. Yeah. So there's the mudra, of Jesus or whatever. Well, because Jesus is this, but like this one, I forget what it means. But basically, yeah, I think being very direct with how you guide your energy. And I'm just feeling something with touch too. Like, just be very sensitive and gentle, and like, you don't need to apply a lot of pressure in this situation with this person. But yeah, that's what your heart's trying to tell you. If you want to figure out more about how to let go of a situation, forgiveness, healing, all that other stuff, I've got plenty of other pick a card readings. And I definitely spend a lot of time with y'all. So please, if you want more relationship advice with this particular person, I've got lots of stuff available to you. So anyways, thank you guys so much for sticking around, and I will see you all next time. Take care. Hello everyone, you have chosen pile number 3, and these are going to be your messages on what does your heart have to say to you. It's so funny because I was looking over at one of my stickers and I thought it said goth. So I don't know if y'all are very much like, I don't need love. Or maybe you guys chose this pile because you're thinking like, ooh, is this gonna be like one of those sneaky readings where Chris is trying to talk about me, and then they give me information about a potential partner? Ooh, I feel some curiosity in this pile. But love is on the way, and I feel like that's what your stubborn little heart is trying to tell your stubborn little brain. Okay, we're gonna go ahead and pull some cards to figure out what messages your heart has for you. But I feel like for you guys, you're like, no. Love is not on the way. But you still go like, tee-hee-hee! Oh my gosh, like, someone likes me, hee-hee-hee! But then you're like, no. Nobody loves me. I'm not worthy enough. But you're kind of like, you know you're lovable. So it's like, which is it? That's what I'm saying. I'm seeing like kind of like this energy that's really nervous or just tries to play it off when really it could just be like a social gap issue maybe it's just divine timing, but there's just an insecurity here that I'm like, why y'all gotta be insecure about yourself? Your heart's not that way. What are you doing? What are you doing? You're distracting yourselves. Maybe you're paying, like, you need to pay more attention to your body, okay? Because I think, like, you guys are, like, you're running away from having to feel hurt, but you're also running away from feelings in general. And so, like, you guys, your heart space is in an addiction energy where it's coming and going, it's fleeting. It's like, I don't want to go back there, so I'm gonna be like, I'm a hit and run, right? Like, I definitely see you guys as being like, oh, I'm gonna talk to a couple boys, and then I'm gonna ghost them if I don't get exactly what I want. And then you're gonna claim that it's your heart space when similar to pile number 2, but you guys are definitely not pile number 2. The depression gap between these two piles is very different. Or this is just another aspect of pile number 2. But like this hit and run energy definitely feels like you're not utilizing your heart space in your decisions. In general, not just relationships. We've got Parvati. Yeah, sorry, I can't pronounce this. The goddess of devotion. I am a love that doesn't leave. When I commit to my love, my soul evolves. Yeah, there's something about y'all where you guys want to be the dutiful girlfriend, wife, husband, spouse. But specifically, I'm seeing I'm a love that doesn't leave. So I don't know if you guys are, like, always asking for pick-a-card readings or, like, tarot readings about a person after you block them. And you're like, how's he feeling about me? Or, like, there's something about, like, or maybe you're always picking up on this person's energy. And it's like, why don't they go away? Like, there's this constant, like, push and pull energy with... It feels like a masculine. I think a majority of you guys are feminines and the other person's a masculine. Or, again, this pile doesn't feel very overtly queer, but, you know, take what resonates. I don't want to dictate y'all's genders. With the goddess of devotion, though, you guys, your heart is definitely, like, you're like, people need to pick up the pace, or I need to pick up the pace. There's a feeling of, like, I'm somebody's wife. I'm only human, and I'm only young for so long. So if I'm going to have babies, or if I'm going to make a baby, I need to commit. You know what I mean? And I think your heart wants you to stop negotiating with people that are not commitment-oriented. I'm just going to be straight with y'all. That's what this whole hit-and-run energy is. It's like, you're playing with your emotions and your own thoughts and feelings because you're trying to negotiate for attention with people that you know don't want anything to do with you in that way. Or you try to be like, I'm going to take the bad boy and I'm going to make him commit to me because I'm blah, blah, blah. Like, and this feels like an insecure feminine frequency where you're trying to get control when you're not acknowledging how you're harming and distracting yourself from what's important. And if anything, this feels like you're destroying yourself through this process because you are trying to negotiate your values. Specifically, for example, like if you want to just get married to somebody, then why are you wasting time with jerks? You know what I mean? Because that's keeping you away from your husband. And again, maybe it's because I just turned 30. I don't think it's that, but it's like, it's literally this energy of like, you don't have time to be sifting through boyfriends when you're looking for a husband. Because boyfriend energy is different than commitment energy. And now we can get into TikTok and social media about all the different things that come with marriage and blah, 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 blah. But like you guys, that's what your heart's telling you. Your heart's like, what are you doing? I'm a wife. Excuse you. I'm not someone's hookup. I'm not someone's whatever. So if you're not showing me wifey things or like or husband material, if you're not here to sit and look for commitment or you got commitment issues, I don't have time for you because I know how to commit right away. The moment I want you, I want you. And you're pretty loyal, actually. I mean, like, yeah, you might be having fleeting, like, oh, he's really cute or whatever, but, like, that's not, like, the same as, like, I'm gonna go ruin my marriage. You know what I mean? Like, you guys are definitely, like, you want to commit to just one person, and I think you're just stubborn about the fact that you're continuing to go into places looking for things that don't align with you when that's not what even you want. You know what I mean? It's like, why are you going to a bar to look for someone who doesn't drink. You know what I mean? I was about to say like a businessman, but it's kind of like whatever energy you catch a person in is going to tell you a lot about who they are. And obviously, we're all in ups and downs, and I think you guys make excuses for bad behavior or bad boys because, again, you like the idea of the chase. You like the game that's being played, but then you're playing yourself because you don't. You're playing girlfriend when you're wanting to be a wife. So why are you trying to wife up people that aren't good for you? They have no idea how to, like, sustain a relationship. Ooh. This is Akhilanda. Akhilanda, oh. Can't show that. Everything happens for my liberation. I choose to become only more love. The goddess of never not broken. Holy cow. There is so much fire energy to this person. Jesus Christ. What kind of people are you attracting? Or attracted to? Like, this energy is very fiery. And I think, like, you guys aren't paying attention to the reflection back within you. I'm seeing, like, maybe you guys have dealt with some really troubled guys in the past. Wow, I immediately was like, oh, I forgot to cover up the explicit thing. You can't really see it in the light, but, like, the pin, I just covered it up. It says boy pussy on it. And quite literally, you guys were mistaking family, like, for either boy pussies or something like that. Like, oh my god, oh, I see what happened. Okay, like, you guys, you have a misunderstanding of what healthy masculinity looks like because you're chasing bad boys because you think they're confident. You think because they have experience, that means that they're good at their jobs when they're not. That because they have money, that they can protect you and provide and care for you. And really, they're just siphoning money off their parents or showing off. Like, you are choosing men that aren't very masculine. They're very feminine in nature because they want everyone else taking care of them and their needs. They want to be boys. They want to be forever young. And you're looking for the echoes of what your actual man is like. Like, your actual man is way more intense. And I think, I can't tell if it's you who's intense and you're trying to live vicariously through these men instead of you just owning your life. Like, I feel like you guys, first of all, need to own your masculine power so you know when it comes out or not. Because when you're around a very masculine guy that can match your masculine frequency, you're going to switch into your feminine. Hands down. Like, you know what I mean? It's kind of like, and because you've been around boys that play around, they fool around, they're not serious, you have developed a more masculine approach to how you date. You chase. You go after things. You want things a certain kind of way instead of sitting back and letting someone else do it for you and let them to be devoted to you. You know what I mean? You're like, I'm a wife. And you like the image of the wife. You like the objects, the material, you like the whatever, but you're excluding the relationship. And you're excluding the fact that your man, or the man kind of man you look for, is also just as fucking intense as you. With my liberation, like, maybe you're just a passionate person, you're a passionate lover. With my liberation, I think there's something about, like, you need freedom from this BS that's happening here, because the image of the wife is not the kind of wife you are. I don't know if you guys are like carrying a burden or a generational burden that doesn't solve your issues. Again, because I feel like this is all about like focusing on the material side of marriage instead of being like, you guys are saying you want love, but you're talking to people for money and wealth because you're like, well, I might as well. But then you're not taking care of your own financial situation. You just want to like externalize it. Again, it's like I'm seeing guys shifting the blame where it's like sometimes it's about, well, men are trash. And then sometimes it's like, well, it's the economy, or then it's this. And you're neglecting the little girl inside of you that's saying, I just want to be free. What kind of a man lets you be free? Does a husband let you be free? Not always. Not by this definition. If you're his accessory side piece, is that who you are? Or do you want a spouse that liberates you right back by not allowing this uniform lifestyle? A man that actually says, I want you to be in charge of your own destiny, and I'm going to support you. And I'm going to remind you and liberate you from this silly idea that I got to be the one always taking care of you. I'm going to hold my hand out and give you the platform so that way you can soar and be yourself. There's something about both of you. I'm feeling like both versions of you. That feels better. Gotta separate, like you gotta change your definition of what a wife looks like in the modern age and what a husband looks like in a modern age. Because we don't have to adhere to these very specific binary rules anymore. If you want to be this person, okay, but I don't think you know what you're signing up for. Because this doesn't fall in line with this wild, untamed heart frequency inside of you. You want to devote yourself to yourself first and your well-being. You want to do, like right now, I'm feeling this energy of like, I just want to commit to somebody, but you're not actually that's not actually committing to someone just because you don't want to. Like there's something about like, you're saying you want a spouse, but you're not devoting energy into finding a spouse. And then you're not, you know what I'm saying? Like there's just this conflicting energy where it's like, I'm either a woman or I'm a girl. Instead of just I'm one. Okay? And then like with boy pussy, it's like, you need to stop saying men are pussies. I think that's the first thing right off the bat you gotta stop. Stop judging dudes' masculinities. Another man's masculinity and gauge of things has nothing to do with you. How women judge men's masculinity is its own thing. So anytime you come at a man's balls and do that sort of stuff, you have no idea what that guy's been through. You have no idea the difference between a boy and a man if you're running around saying this shit. Because you will chase any secure ass man away. Because that immediately, he's like, no, I'm not marrying someone like that. Who's going to be sitting there, like, pulling at my heartstrings and whining and complaining and then saying I'm not a man because she didn't get her way. Like, no, that's childhood stuff. That's girl stuff. And you're like, well, I'm in charge. And it's like, that's not how that dynamic works. That's kind of a made up thing where it's like, if you're partners, you're equal. You balance each other out. And I feel like, again, maybe something happened in your adolescence where you were taken advantage of or you weren't finding balanced masculine energy, which is understandable because there's a lot of imbalanced masculine energy out there. But like, again, I feel like you believe that the masculine is only focused on appearances. Maybe you've been listening to a lot of social media and talking a lot of shit, but like, again, like, I really don't get the vibe that you understand masculine, like true masculine frequency. Because again, you're hanging around boys. Like, yeah, of course when they're younger or they're not developed fully, they're gonna act this way. Not when they become men. Maybe you're not used to men too. Maybe you only hang around girls. Or you're very comfortable in girly things, but you're not transitioning into the womanhood. There's that lack of transition here. Amaterasu, she's my favorite sun goddess. Okay, I'm gonna talk about her real fast. I'm gonna read the card. Amaterasu, so she's the goddess of the sun in Japanese mythology. And what I love about her is oftentimes in the spiritual world, especially the New Age spiritual world, the sun is associated with men, and the moon is associated with women. And Amaterasu, she is a sun goddess. She is a goddess of light. In this card we're all sacred mirrors reflecting back the same light. Anytime you're having issues with a person, it's a reflection back to yourself. If you are perpetually having the same issues with men, reflect back to yourself. What am I putting out there that's attracting boy pussies? And I even hate saying that, but I'm gonna keep it in the edit because like I hurt. Like my inner masculine is hurt by even hearing that. You know what I mean? Like I don't want to be around a girl that talks crap about men all day. No, I don't want to date a girl like that. Because if she's saying she loves men and she loves me, but then she's gonna go talk crap about guys over here, I don't want to talk with someone like that. I'm sorry. Like, there's a huge difference between an advocate for something and just talking shit, you know? And it's hurtful to yourself, group number 3, as well as the men that you're interacting with. And men who respect themselves and value their relationships and interactions with women don't want to be around that. Not because they hate women, but because they value themselves and their own version of masculinity. Now, if that version of masculinity you don't agree with, that's different. But that's not coming from a place of low self-esteem, right? Which is what you're dealing with, right? Because grown men, they know who they are, they know their values, their boundaries, and what they are and aren't going to put up with. With Amachirisu, her whole story and journey is she, I forget who hurts her, but basically something really bad happens. So she hides in a cave, and she's crying and crying and crying, and because she's the son, like, everything starts to die. And everyone's getting mad at the person who hurts her. So when they try to get her to come out of this cave, she refuses to come out. So what they do is, in order to get her to come out of the cave, they put up a mirror and she sees the light and she realizes, oh, I guess that it's morning. So then she comes out because she wants to go see what's going on outside of the cave. And then she lights up the world again. And so this is where, with that mirrors and reflecting, when you reflect light towards yourself and other people, because some of you guys are also neglecting yourselves in these dynamics, you will then start attracting light right back. So when you start taking care of your own femininity, yourself, taking care of your appearance, your body, and not based off of what other people's opinions are, and again, from a health standpoint, there's a huge difference between taking care of your health, your mind, body, and spirit because you're insecure versus I'm doing it to take care of myself. My femininity is sacred. It deserves protection. And I deserve to have warmth and connection to my body and loving and accepting it regardless of how it is. And again, if you got gender stuff, that's a different problem. But like, this is specifically exclusively working on the fact that you, in your feminine essence and as yourself, is what's going to be enough to attract somebody. So stop getting into all this insecure energy. And your heart is literally just like never not broken. That is the energy you gotta be in. That's who you are. Never not broken. That is such a badass, like, name for a goddess. I mean, like, come on. That's you. Own that. Stop pretending like you're weak. Stop pretending like you don't know how to protect yourself or take care of things. You need a man. A man who's not gonna be insecure by this stuff. Because anybody who is insecure by that, they're not men. They're boys. A grown man, if anything, is really turned on by a woman who can take care of things because that means that's one less thing he has to worry about. So he can actually focus on providing for you. Instead of, oh, I came home and she spent all of the money in her bank account. Or he went ahead and purchased something that we don't need and now we don't have enough money to pay for our bills. You know what I mean? Like, this is just general, like, be an adult and receive adults. Anyways, rant over. Honeymoon phase, attending someone's wedding. Yeah, maybe you guys are going to be going to someone's wedding soon. But I am feeling with your heart space, you know, you are in the honeymoon stage of a relationship. And you just got to be careful to make sure your both feet are planted on the ground. Okay? You like the honeymoon, but not the marriage. You know? And again, you care about attending someone else's wedding rather than your own. So what gives? Someone else, someone in the middle, someone is trying to sabotage us. Stop. Like, some of you guys, you're putting yourself in the third party situation. You're victimizing yourself. And you're like, oh, quit complaining about my actions. It's like, well, your heart is. Your heart's aching over this. You're sitting there being like, you're the main girl. And you're sitting here getting obsessive over a man with someone else. You are sabotaging yourself. Like, if he's not choosing you, he's not choosing you. And you're like, well, he's mine. Is he? If he's loving up on somebody else? If he's not putting effort into you? You're sabotaging your heart, girlfriend. Stop trying to pull him away from other people. That grown man is choosing to be with someone else. That is his decision. Let him come to you if he wants you. If he doesn't want you, then he's not going to show up. He's not going to be asking you questions. He's not going to be talking to you. He's not going to be looking your way. He's not going to be confusing. Because he's going to be like, I want that girl. That person right there is my wife. And I want to make her my wife. If she doesn't want that, then okay, I'm going to move on. But he's going to be respectful and he's going to try to pursue you in a respectful way. And there's something in the middle here that you still need to energetically work through. Because if you feel like you got to have another person in between you and the person you desire, that's a conflict that needs resolved inwardly first. And that's just telling me that there's maybe you have a father wound, or maybe there's some kind of like split within yourself and a shadow aspect of yourself that you haven't integrated back yet. But I think it's your inner child or your inner goddess that's literally being like, this isn't the one. Not the one. You need someone way more intense. I'm sorry, that card's looking at me and I'm like, Jesus. You want someone that's really passionate about you. Screw this whatever. No, you want a guy who's going to fight for you. Who wants to cover you in flowers and play with your hair and lay with you in the sunshine. Don't let go of that. Maybe you're supposed to be with a girl too. You know what I mean? Like, I'm just saying. Let go. Make room for the new beginning on its way to you. Yeah, you gotta make room for someone else than what you're currently choosing. Okay, make room for this version of you. Make room for the future woman that you're evolving into as you heal and grow. Hold steady. Figure out your values, your passions. Focus on that. And then the rest of it's all going to come together. Pets, getting a new pet. That's crazy. Moose just started making all that noise, and then I literally just pulled this. Pets, getting a new pet, current pet. Yeah, some of you guys, instead of a boyfriend, you need a pet to devote yourself to. Okay, just focus on that, because a relationship isn't like having an animal that just gives you endless cuddles and never talks to you. Like, you know what I mean? Like, some of you guys, you really gotta change your expectations to something a little bit more mature. Because again, a grown man understands that he understands the value of his emotions. And if you're coming in treating men like they don't have feelings, or that women are superior, or like there's something about like, yeah, I'm getting like a mother knows best energy. Like, the kind of guy that I think your heart is looking for is going to call you out on that. You know what I mean? Because it's coming from a place of insecurity. Because if you chose a man who is capable of taking care of your family, then why do you need to be like that? You know what I mean? Like, obviously we're all human. We're going to make mistakes. But like, I'm saying, it's the energy behind it. You know, shine your light on this person and shine your light on yourself. You know what I mean? You don't need to be afraid, because you should trust your heart to know what's right for you. If this guy makes you feel like a wife, then yeah. But you need to set your expectations a little higher. Shit. Shit. All right. I hope that you can forgive me one day. Yeah, stop forgiving people that don't deserve to be forgiven. No. I know that I crossed the line with you. No. I left when I saw you with someone. Yeah, leave. Go away. Don't come back. I'm afraid to contact you. Don't care. Doesn't matter. All of these cards are reflections of insecurity. That you're afraid to contact your inner goddess because you're afraid of what that's going to look like. Because you were never taught that this is the true you, is your truth, whatever's in your truth, that's going to block you from having an authentic, loving relationship. I'm just saying. Yeah, I just saw some confirmation. Wow, okay. Spirit's playing games with me. Okay. Alright, anyways, that was your reading. I appreciate you guys sticking around and listening to that message, because it's hard, and these are like lessons that, you know what? Take what resonates. Because if that's not the lifestyle that works best for you, fine. But I'm just saying, maturity is going to help your heart heal a lot better than, like, I don't know, just not choosing love at all. Because to me, that's where some of the love is, and the heartache's coming from. Is it's like you're not choosing love, you're choosing connections that you're just filling a role. You know what I mean? And again, you guys are beautiful, and like, look at all this red energy. Like, geez, like, you're so passionate. You guys have so much divine, beautiful frequency, and I really just want you guys to know that I'm sending you these messages, a little bit of extra tough love, so that way you guys are reminded of the fire inside you, right? All of these goddesses have bright white light behind them in red, and just so much life to you. So why would you shortchange yourself with somebody who isn't going to ignite that same passion for life in you? Right? Anyways, y'all. Okay, all right, I'm supposed to talk about it, but it's like there's the term screwing and fighting. You know what I mean? That's not what you want. This is different. Okay? This doesn't have the toxicity and whatever. It's disciplined passion. It's fire with the light, you know? And like, yeah, you're gonna get burned a little bit by your person, but it's like, I'm sorry. Like, maybe you need a hot firefighter. Hot firefighter bod. Oh, and maybe summer is important to you as well. But anyways, take what resonates. Anyways, if you enjoyed this message today, understand that love is on the way. Please like, subscribe, comment down below if this resonated with you, and I will see you all next time. And again, I just keep getting this energy that, like, love is on the way for you guys. Don't give up, but change your strategy a little bit. Focus on maturing, focus on you, but, like, in the ways that you are connecting to your heart. Okay? And the passions in your heart. Like, don't settle for more of this, like, we went on a coffee date and I felt mediocre. No, stop that. You guys are meant for more. I know the people I'm attracting. Y'all are coming from a different angle than most people, so no, don't settle. Yeah, anyways, thank you guys so much. I'm sending you guys a lot of love, and I will see you all next time. Again, if some of y'all are lesbians, figure that out. Yeah, because some of you guys, like, you're... Okay, I have to add this in there too, because this showed up... There's a particular group, and again, only take what resonates, but, like, some of you guys, you're expecting men to behave like women do, and that's not gonna work, okay? So make sure you figure out your sexuality too, because if you are sexually attracted to women, more than likely, you're gonna have a hard time dating men authentically and knowing how to find that balance. Especially, like, if you want to play that role that guys traditionally work with, then okay. But, like, don't get into this gendered stuff, okay? It's hurting you. Anyways, now that I got that off my chest, thank you guys so much for stopping by, and I'll see you all next time. Take care. Hello, everyone. You have chosen pile number 4, and you have overcome so much, and these are going to be your messages from your heart space. Oh my gosh, like, y'all, I feel like what your heart's trying to tell you is you gotta slow down. I'm feeling it in my knees, so maybe you guys have been running around too much. I'm feeling out of breath, or maybe age is impacting you a little bit. Your heart is telling you, like, your body's trying to send you a message with things. maybe like I'm feeling like I don't know if you maybe have issues in your reproductive bits. Specifically, I'm just feeling this energy of like if your body's telling you something's wrong, it's sending you a message that something in your heart is off balance. And you're trying to control something a little too much. Maybe you're using substances or chemicals to try to regulate the underlying problem. I don't there's some kind of like a message that's like hidden inside of your body that I know this is a message about your heart, but your heart is saying something's wrong somewhere down below that is inherently why you're having to go to the bathroom a lot and whatever. And so like yeah, so again, maybe you guys have digestive issues or whatever, but like something with sexual health is playing a role with your heart. So it's kind of like, aw, this is kind of sad. Okay, so maybe you guys have some sexual trauma in your history. I'm not gonna lie, trigger warning. But there's something about the fact that you want to erase memories of a person that you may be connected to sexually they're not going away. And I think like your body, like I don't know if you've ever heard of the book The Body Keeps the Score, but I think like you're going to need to do some sexual healing in order to connect to your heart space again. Okay? Like maybe your body hasn't recovered after an incident. And maybe you don't want to acknowledge what it did to you. But yeah, I'm just feeling there's a lot of trauma in your heart space as a result of not being connected to your lower chakras and whatnot. Okay, now I know what kind of context this message is going to be about, and I just want to say I'm so sorry that those things happened to you guys. Pile number 4, my heart goes out to you, and I do have a list of resources available to you if you're currently in an unhealthy relationship, or I'm hearing to stop. Okay. Yeah, I don't know. I feel like with this pile, I'm gonna just try to tread a little bit more lightly on this topic, mostly because I don't want to trigger people, and this is the internet, so you know, this is not meant to replace medical advice or be official mental health advice. So yeah, I'm just gonna say, like, if you guys are a little bit more sensitive, please, you know, trigger warning. Maybe come back to this pile later if you're not in the best headspace to potentially get triggered. Just because your heart needs to release some stuff, and I don't know what's gonna come out of this message, but I really want you to remind your body that, you know, you're here, and that remember that whenever you're engaging in relationships with people, your body will remember that relationship, and it remembers the past. That doesn't mean you can't let go of it, but you're holding your healing back by sabotaging the cycle of not letting your body naturally cleanse itself, if that makes any sense. Like there's something. Yeah, again, this is not official medical advice, but I'm feeling like something about like with hormone therapy and whatever, you're not like I'm seeing it as like you're trying to take a magic pill to make what your body's trying to tell you go away. And there's some kind of a self-sabotage energy here where, again, as a mental health advocate, you know, if you need to take medication for something, you need to take medication for something. However, what I'm feeling is you need to let go of this idea that you take one thing as a cure for trauma and messages that your body needs to communicate to you, if that makes any sense. So for example, nope. Maybe your body is telling you to say no to a person, and you're ignoring that, and you're viewing your body as the problem, in the situation instead of looking at what's around you that's causing you to have a reaction. So if you're having stomach trouble in places, and then you leave said place and you only experience the stomach problems in relation to this scenario or energy, that's a pretty good sign. It's a reminder to something bad that happened in your past, and it's your body telling you to get away from it. Especially stomach issues are usually a manifestation of sexual trauma. If that doesn't apply to you, don't take it. But what happens is the lesson here is about, it could be control. And you may have issues with that with other people. It could be people not respecting your no, not respecting your boundaries, and you're not letting go of the significance that impacted you in a lot of areas of your life. With the so much, I feel like there's just so much pain that you're carrying, maybe that your parents were carrying, and you're trying to let go in a way, in manner that manifests as more harm than good, if that makes any sense. Again, I'm just hearing chemicals, so it's like, I'm just seeing you guys trying to fix something in your body that's natural and not, like, good for you. Like, so here's a very innocent example that I can at least say. Like, if you were trying to clean things downstairs and it throws off the pH balance in your body because someone told you when you were younger that, oh, well, girls aren't supposed to do this, so then you try to do cleanses for things that are naturally part of your body system. Or like skincare, for example. You're like, why do I have so much acne? And you're buying all these products to clear your face up, when the whole reason that you're getting acne is because you're wearing so much makeup. So then you invest more money. And it's like this endless cycle that eventually throws off the natural flow in your skin and changes your skin type. And then when you stop wearing makeup, then suddenly your skin problems all disappear. You know what I mean? It's things like that where you're trying to artificially adjust your body to survive in an environment that makes no sense. And again, it's like you're constantly getting interrupted. You know what I mean? Someone's always coming in and trying to tell you to do this or to do that. And you're used to listening to them because you want to fit in. You want to survive. You're scared. Maybe you don't know what the impact of things are and consequences of your actions until years down the road, you know? I mean, I know my parents are always talking about, like, don't put these kinds of chemicals in your body because later down the line they have research to prove that this causes this cancer and whatever. It's like, geez, you know? Anyways, let's get into the cards and the messages. Yeah, I'm trying to not, like, scare you guys, but it's like, that's why listening to your body is so important, so it can release things naturally without you having to go in and tamper with them. And then you can start looking at the medical side of stuff. You know what I mean? Because it's like, you also can't diagnose what's wrong when you're artificially influencing things, you know? And not receiving messages from your body, and your mind. All right, we've got the King of Swords in reverse. Yeah, so what your heart is telling you is, yeah, I keep hearing body keeps the score. Like, you're stuck in your headspace. Like, I feel like maybe you guys, like, look into medical stuff, but it doesn't click that it applies to you. You know what I mean? Maybe this is kind of like an energy of, maybe you were, like, neglected growing up, or there's some kind of, like, you think you know how to take care of yourself when in actuality it's kind of harmful. I'm seeing, like, the abs here. So, like, maybe your confidence isn't what it used to be. Yeah, with abs, I'm almost feeling like, do you guys, like, work out for aesthetic purposes instead of, like, to get stronger and to get muscle? Yeah, I feel like one thing your heart is reminding you that working out does help you release things. So, again, maybe you're trying to lose belly fat, for example, but you don't want to, I'm hearing, like, but you don't want to lose the weight. There's some kind of, like, a spiritual element to why you're having a disconnect within your body. And you could heal your connection with your body, you know? I mean, your body's not going to be perfect, but, like, the more you try to overconsume product and artificial solutions that have nothing to do with your health, and you're not like going within to face the issues that are going on, you're going to continue to manifest like this negativity. You know what I mean? Like I'm seeing all this like dark energy that is expelling from this man's body. And to me, it's like you just have to bring things to light and you're going to eliminate some of your health problems and heart issues. You know what I mean? Like I feel like your heart is keeping secrets from you because your body can't restore itself, if that makes any sense. Yeah, so it's kind of like, I don't know. I think like some of you guys, yeah, this is not official medical advice, but consider like if you're on birth control and you're trying to figure things out with your body, it's really going to be difficult to do so and diagnose when you're not regulated right or well. I don't know, there's something about like you need a relationship with your body first before you try going and fixing things and listening to other people. Because if you don't know you first, then you're going to take any medical advice from anybody and then it's going to come back and hurt you because you were just taking advice from people that didn't know what they were talking about. With the King of Swords, it's kind of like there's this king energy where you're like, you need an authority on the figure to acknowledge what you're going through, when the reality is like you have to be doing this on your own because you're a unique person and a unique individual. And your heart is literally like, I'm letting go of control over what I know my truth is and what my body's trying to share with me. So it's like you can't get the right help when you're not talking with your body first. Or like I'm also hearing like your parents. Yeah, something about like somebody in your past took away your ability to think for yourself and made you question everything. And like again, I'm seeing like this muscular guy, and it's like again, I feel like you're projecting out a stronger body image than what you are. You know what I mean? And I think like you're gonna need to do some spiritual clearing too. Three of Wands in reverse. Yeah, I feel like you're stagnant right now, or you're really lost. I'm feeling like your energy, like things in life are just passing you by because you've been struggling with like issues in your body, in your mind. You need to rest more. Like, I don't know if you guys have been like pushing yourselves to the brink or you're not acknowledging what is around you. Again, I think most of this crowd is female bodied, so I'm gonna speak to that. But if you're masculine, there might be a masculine energy in here too, where it's like maybe you have a hormone imbalance naturally, but that's meant for you. I don't know, there's just something artificial about what you're doing. And like again, I feel like there's also like this energy of people trying to block you from figuring yourself out or figuring out your truth. You know what I mean? Because they want you to fit into this stereotype or this whatever, when it's like, well, not everybody works the same, you know? And I don't feel like it's really malicious. It's just kind of like, it's just easier. Like, again, maybe like your insurance company is trying to say, hey, we want you to get an official opinion about this. But, or like the only a certain type of person can cover this under health insurance. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe, do you guys have some like health trauma as well? Because I think that it's also like affecting your heart. Maybe it's in your family line, or you're like, I don't know, there's just like a distinct like relationship with your heart and the rest of your body that needs worked on. We're just gonna leave it there because I feel like this is such a rabbit hole, and I really don't want to get in trouble for pushing you guys on a medical path that I'm not qualified for. I'm just saying that acknowledging your past, acknowledging your partner's effect on your body is gonna heal your heart space a lot. Because I think you're not able to let go and process what happened because you're trying to block something out. And then you're blaming your body for having something wrong with it instead of just being able to let go. And I don't know, like you're saying it's like it's messed up when it's like it's not messed up. It's responding accordingly to what happened to you. Then maybe generations back. The Two of Pentacles in reverse. Yeah, you're out of balance. In your heart space. Because I think, like, for example, the fact that you're attacking your body, or your mind is attacking your body instead of trying to work with it. I'm just hearing that's a red flag. And that's something that, like, you know, if your body's telling you to run away from something, then do it. If you're feeling pain in your body when you're doing something, don't do it. You know what I mean? Like, there's this whole, like, I feel like this mantra where you're like, I just need to get over it, or I need to get stronger, or whatever. And it's like, that's bullshit. That's what abusive people tell you. And again, I just feel like you were taken for granted, and you're going to need to overcome the fact that you missed out on a lot of living because of the actions of somebody else, and not being able to know how to overcome and letting things out and clear itself. And I think your body knows the way. And that's the first thing you should be listening to. And then focus on the advice you're receiving. But if you're hearing something from somebody and it's not making sense, listen to your body. Because right now, I feel like, again, if you are coming from that sexual trauma background, there's something in your frequency that's just telling me that there's more to the story than this. And if you've got emotions trapped somewhere else than your heart, then focus on working on those areas too. There's all kinds of somatic exercises. And again, please work with a therapist before you start doing some of the stuff, because I do feel like you guys, if you have a background in trauma, please work with your therapist on what is the best method of helping you access those emotions, thoughts, and feelings. Because this pile, I definitely feel like working through it isn't going to be enough. You have to feel through it, some of the stuff. And again, I'm just feeling it's genitalia stuff. And especially, like, if you're a guy, you know, like, you guys have your own form of releasing this sort of stuff. And, you know, I feel like you guys just need to acknowledge that something was something. Either that you did something wrong, or someone did something wrong to you. You know, I think just acknowledging that even happened and processing it through your body and working in that way. Because it doesn't matter what you think, it's about how your body is connecting. I regret lying to you. Yeah, your heart is saying, I regret lying to my body. And trying to make myself be in situations that I felt unsafe and uncomfortable. I feel like you lied to yourself a lot about certain relationships in your past. That you were like, oh my gosh, he's my savior, and then he turned out to be your tormentor. Yeah, I'm seeing, like, the dynamic between good and evil, and it's just kind of like perpetrator-victim energy. Yeah, I think you're just lying to yourself a lot to work through, to, like, get out of your head. You know, when you don't need to get out of your head. If it was bad, it was bad. It's okay to be open about those situations and how hard it was for you to come out of it, because you've already overcome so much, you know? So don't lie to try to make yourself look good if you're still hurting from these past wounds. I'm just feeling like the wounded masculine energy of, like, it doesn't matter what your gender is, it's just this feeling of, like, I need to protect my body. I need to protect my shame. I need to protect who I was. When it's like, a person was hurt in this situation. You can acknowledge both sides of things. And there doesn't need to be shame here, but it needs to be worked through. It's time for me to heal now. Yeah, I think, like, it's time, like, enough time has passed, you've done all these different works, now it's to actually just do the process of merging with this pain and letting it clear itself out. And you're allowed to feel bad for yourself. You're allowed to look at your past and see it for what it is. And I'm immediately feeling like you're beating yourself up. Like, you're like, I need to be strong. I don't need to do that anymore. I've already done this in therapy or whatever. And this is like, you need to stop protecting the hurt that happened. That's what you need to do. You need to let the hurt, like, you have to feel your hurt and your pain. And that's the only way you're going to let it go, because you need to feel it. And it's going to be hard, but like, that's why somatic exercises, physical exercises, getting connected back to your body again so you can start actually feeling things again. Yeah. Again, I'm already telling y'all right now, I'm not qualified for this sort of stuff, so please talk to a mental health professional. It was my fault, but I blamed you. Yeah, you got blamed for something that you didn't do. Yeah, I just keep seeing someone calling you a pussy or a wuss or whatever, and you took the brunt of someone else's abusive behavior or someone else's bad behavior towards you. And a piece of you is trying to protect itself by saying, like, I'm blaming myself, but I'm blaming you. There's just kind of like this energy or this duality of like the shadow aspect trying to protect the light and the light trying to protect the dark, if that makes any sense. Where I think there's a shadow aspect of yourself that does believe it was your fault when it wasn't. And I think it's hard for you to acknowledge that piece of yourself because it's trying to justify what happened when there wasn't a justification. There doesn't need to be a reason. It happened. Because it shouldn't have happened. And you're like, but no. There was, like, there's no self-defense that, like, knowing that should have prevented what happened. They still chose to hurt you. And that is not your responsibility that they made that choice. It doesn't matter if they didn't have intentions to hurt you. They still did. It still happened. That hurt is still there. And you need to quit pretending that it's not affecting you that way. I'm not available. That person wasn't available. And there's kind of like I'm not capable. And you weren't capable of protecting yourself in those environments too. Again, I'm hearing like, yeah, like I was weak. You know what I mean? I can't be that weak or whatever. And it's like, no. That it shouldn't have happened, period. Like, those environments should have not been put in that way, so that way this could have happened. You know what I'm saying? It's like, there's this energy of, like, there needs to be blame, and we have to shift blame around so that way I don't feel attacked or hurt, instead of being like, yeah, maybe I did something bad, but something bad also did happen to me. I don't know. There's kind of like this, like, lack of accountability from this other person's energy. And I think, like, you're kind of echoing this back from this person. And then you're believing that you were the bad person all along when it was them. But you really internalize that. Maybe because it's in your family. You know what I mean? Yeah, king. I'm seeing the word king, like someone had to always be king, and they always had to be king in your court, right? When it's like, it's your kingdom, like your life. Why does someone else gotta play king? Like, you know what I mean? Like someone, yeah. Someone definitely manipulated you guys. We got intuition, the red flags you ignore now will come back to bite you later. I mean, that sums up the reading. Open up your heart. It will help you attract more love. Liar, be careful of someone sneaky. And earth sign, Taurus, Virgo, Capricorn. Ooh, that Capricorn energy feels a little nasty. Yeah. I'm just feeling like you need to open up about your sexual trauma with somebody or whatever happened that you don't want to talk about, and use your intuition to designate the safest way to go about that. Because ultimately, everybody's healing journey is unique. And again, even if this isn't about sexual trauma, use your intuition on how to proceed going forward. You know, and especially this person, don't talk to this person, don't engage. Okay? You've already overcome so much. This is like kind of the final piece to overcome and let the situation flow, let the energy flow. And your intuition's going to tell you if you're safe or not. Because ultimately, body keeps a score. So if something bad happened to you in the past and you feel that energy again with someone, do not go towards that person. Yeah, and you're not a liar if something bad happened to you or between you and another person. Don't lie to yourself. Okay? That's the worst thing you can do. And yeah, I just keep hearing like open up. Okay? It's safe now. You did the work. And again, this is the internet, so again, if it's not safe, it's not safe. Work with a professional to determine the best strategy for releasing this healing. Okay, that's my best recommendation, but if you can't reach that, then again, intuition's your best bet for coping. Yeah, or a trusted leader or somebody that's qualified for dealing with this stuff. That isn't just, you know, whatever. Anyways, thank you guys so much for stopping by. I don't know how much of this message I'm going to need to cut out for legal reasons. But anyways, if you enjoyed this message, please like, subscribe, comment down below, and links to some professional resources are on my website. So if you do want to find someone that you can talk to about this, you can find them down below. Anyways, thank you all. I'm sending you guys a lot of love. I see you, I support you, and you're almost there, guys. Anyways, take care, and I'll see you all next time. Hello, everyone. You have chosen pile number 5 with the Relax, It Will Be Okay with a heart. And these are going to be your messages on what is your heart trying to tell you. Right off the bat, I was thinking, it stinks in here, and that's because my cat took a dump and it messed up my whole room. And I just had to kick her out because she was being a menace and almost shut off my computer, which would have affected the reading and whatnot. So yeah, something about with your heart space, it's almost like maybe you almost missed, maybe you had a near-death experience, or at least somebody in this connection was like, I almost deleted everything, but I didn't. Like, you're holding on to hope. Yeah, I don't know if you guys were, like, working on a project for a while, or you were, like, really passionate about somebody or something, and then it just ended, but, like, it doesn't feel resolved. And I just feel so anxious, because you're like, oh my god, like, do I go back to this person? Do I go back to this situation? Should I continue with this job? Should I give up on this project? Like, again, I'm feeling like a project that you'd been working on, or some dream you had in the past, and you're like, should I let this go because of money or whatever? And Spirit's like, stop. Breathe. Check in with your heart. Does it still matter in your heart space? I'm shaking my head yes. Y'all, can you hear me? Can you hear that head shake? Yes. You don't have to get everything done in a day. Quit calling yourself a jerk. Like, you guys are so hard on yourselves for not completing your projects or not being with a person that you're supposed to be with. Or, like, you're so mean to your heart, guys. Yeah, because, like, I'm seeing, like, with my boy pussy, pin, you guys are literally, like, attacking your heart for not accomplishing something. Like, again, maybe a relationship failed. Maybe you weren't able to ask that person out. Or, like, maybe, like, you're like, I'm never gonna find love. It's like, you will. It will be okay. You know what I mean? Like, you're gonna find your home. You're gonna find your practice, your belief system, your way. And your heart's just like, hey, I'm on your side. Why are you taking things out on me? You know? We've got the Eight of Pentacles in reverse. I mean, money seems to be like a problem between you and your heart because you're prioritizing money over your friends and family, over relaxing. You know, like you gotta relax, guys. Like, I'm seeing like with this network, it's like you're trying to do everything yourself because you don't have boundaries with other people. And like your heart's literally like dying for connection and just to breathe because you're trying to do everything yourself. You're trying to self-care your way out of being a human being. You're self-caring your way out of having friends, out of relationships, out of life, and you're not growing as a result. Like, you're sabotaging and isolating so you don't have to change because you're scared. And then because you're afraid, you're like, I gotta suck it up and work harder and do all this. It's like, what in the capitalistic society? Like, this is so convoluted, and you are wasting so much time and money and energy on trying to be you're trying to self-sufficient your way out of life. Just existing as a human and living and doing normal human things. Five of Wands, that's conflict, fighting. Yeah, I feel like for you guys, it's always this uphill battle, and you enjoy the grind because it makes you feel like a warrior in the eyes of capitalism and whatever. And like, you're like, why are you referring to capitalism? I'm like, because it's designed this way. You're literally fighting being a natural born human. And like, you want to stand out from the crowd because you're special and you're better and whatever. And this is like toxic individualism, guys. Because regardless of how great and shiny you are, teams will always beat an individual person. It is very rare that you're going to find a person that is self-sufficient to a point where they need no people. And you're like, yeah, I can do that. I'm like, yeah, you can. But like, do you want to go back to the Stone Ages? Because what makes humans great at adapting is because we work as a team. Because I'm going to tell you right now, with like all of these foxes here, you know, an army of foxes is still a pretty formidable force as opposed to one person with a stick. And here's the thing is like right now you're fighting against the flow of other people, but like you're really fighting against your own flow. You know what I mean? Because there's a certain amount of human element that like there's things that you're attacking yourself on that make you a human being. And your heart's just like, why? Your heart's just like, I'm just here. You're just existing, and you're literally attacking and hurting yourself. Why? Because of other people? Because of society failing you? You know what I mean? Because it's like, that's what I'm saying. It's like you're trying to like pretend like you're not connected to a whole human community. Like you're one special individual. And I mean, like, yeah, even if you are really great at stuff, we're still human beings. And I think there's just like a lack of acknowledging your role and the reason why life is hard. Okay, because like life is hard, but not when you're like, you've got all these resources around you and you're choosing to just run against the flow of traffic for no good reason. When you literally could just relax and have a much easier lifestyle. Instead of just like grinding and like believing that it's making you stronger. Because if anything, it's making you look foolish, you know, and wearing you down. The Six of Swords in reverse. Yeah, I feel like do you guys get nightmares a lot? Or it's like, I kind of feel like there's this lurking anxiety energy in your mind. You have like paranoia, or you're like afraid that like, if I rest, the crows are gonna come and get me. They're gonna think I'm dead, and they're gonna like they're just waiting for me to die. You know what I mean? And it's like this very morbid, I don't want to say unrealistic energy, because it is realistic, but it's like, it's kind of like this whole like, you're like 25, you're 35. I don't know, there's like this energy of like, you're like a young person, and you have this like fear. And even if you're not young, like there's just this fearful energy that you're like, well, I'm gonna die and then the crows are gonna eat me. So in order to like say fuck you to society or to God or whatever, I'm gonna fight my way through things. And you're just sleeping on your spirituality. I'm not gonna lie. Again, I'm like, why are you here? are you guys even spiritual people? Um, I mean, I think a piece of you is, but it's kind of like you're fighting it, you know? Yeah, I'm seeing like gas. Do you guys deal with stomach problems? There's something about like your solar plexus chakra that you need to like grow out of this immature, negative mind space about not being able to connect with other people. Like, you're a human being, you're a person, you know, and I feel like you're trapping it in your stomach. I don't know, do you guys have anger issues? Because it's like, again, like being a fighter isn't a problem. Being an individual and going against the grain isn't a problem. But what you're doing is self sabotage. That's what your heart is trying to acknowledge, saying, like, relax. Like, you can't, like, you won't let your body and mind and soul relax because it's fearful and it's fear based. Oh, you have the tower. Okay, yeah. I just feel like you you're striking fear in your sacred space, if that makes any sense, like inside of your heart, you know? And I feel like with like that electricity, it's like you're literally like, so like it's almost like the way you self-regulate or self-harm is like immediately, if you're anything that's like true to your heart comes out, you just kill it. You're like, no, we're not doing that. No. So like maybe for example, you're like, oh hey, I want to do art. No. I want to dress like, no. And you just light yourself on fire repeatedly, over and over and over and over again. So like anytime your heart tries to come out, it lights itself on fire. So then finally your heart started lighting yourself on fire. So like I see this as like it started with a critical parent, then you started criticizing yourself, and then it became self-regulation. And so you're gonna need to really get back to your roots. Again, this seems like trauma healing, to deal with like your inner critic. Because you're just like, because you at a fundamental level are pausing your life and pausing important decisions because you just want to light yourself on fire because it feels good, because that's how you feel warm. I don't know, like there's like this energy of like you think that the criticism is creating inspiration. You know what I mean? It's like that's like fueling you, right? Because it's like this kind of like, yeah, I'm pumping iron. I'm like, yeah, like it's no pain, no gain, and it's backfiring on you. It's not coming from like actual gains, you know? And on top of it, you might be hurting others. You know what I mean? And that's also like lighting your community on fire, you know? Like, do you guys like fight with people a lot on the internet? Or do you just not like want to move on from a conversation? Yeah, I just feel like other people find you draining in this headspace, and it's like, just like relax. And like, why don't you? Justice in reverse. Okay, yep. This, I don't know if you guys are social justice warriors or maybe you're Republican being mad. Like, there's just like this energy, you guys, of like, you're not resolving your relationship with justice because something happened to you at some point in your life where justice was never resolved. You internalized whatever was happening. And again, like this feels like that lightning strike. Maybe something random bad thing happened to you. And instead of healing and moving on, you made it your life purpose to make everybody else pay for the bad thing that happened to you. And you refuse to let it go because you are like, I will be the agent of change. I am the opposite energy. And I feel like you utilize darker energies and frequencies within yourself. And again, some of you guys are like, I don't believe in spiritual whatever. I'm just here because I want to say no to tarot readings, or I want to prove Christian wrong and whatever. And like, there's some kind of like a jealousy that's going on in here when it's like, you have the capacity to tap into exactly the things I'm doing. You just don't want to because your sense of justice is skewed because you want to be right. When spirituality isn't, it's not about being right. It's about existence. It's about connecting to life. And you're not going to fundamentally understand that when you're trying to fight what's already inside of you. Because if you weren't spiritual, you wouldn't be chasing after me, hun. I'm just saying. with this like red hair again, it's like I'm seeing that like, okay, this is weird. Maybe you guys are specifically jealous of me, um, and you're blaming it on superficial things, and you do this in general, right? With like, I'm seeing like with the redhead in this card, I'm seeing it's almost like the people that are like, oh, well, gingers are evil, and so because that person has red hair, it's the sign of the devil or whatever. It's some stupid shit like that where I'm like, what does someone's hair color have anything to do with spirituality when you just said that you aren't spiritual and you don't believe in things? What, like, there's a logical unfallacy, and because of that like sense of justice, something about like your privacy was violated, or like you didn't want to be seen or heard, and it's bringing back all this traumatic energy, and like maybe this caused a relationship to get destroyed between you and another person. You're like, why would she say that? Why would she call me out that way? Why would she blah 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 blah? How did they know? And it's like, I'm a channel, okay, and like I could sit and explain how spirituality works, but to y'all, it's so interesting to me because y'all are inherently spiritual, have inherently spiritual gifts, but because you guys want to stay in a different vibe, you're not going to get there. And like I see with the butterfly, like if you want to transform your energy and get back into balance and heal and be like this butterfly, you're going to have to do like what every other spiritual person does. Again, I'm hearing like get gains, and it's just like, what are you gaining with this energy? Like literally to me, it's like you're fighting you're shadowboxing yourself, and you don't even know it, but you're projecting it onto someone like me. Again, maybe I don't know. This pile, I feel like maybe you guys personally like have a vendetta against me, which is so funny. Which I'm just gonna call it out there, be like, okay, I don't hate you, but you're here anyway, watching me, so sweet. With the angel wings, it's kind of like I'm seeing like with the black and white angel wings. Yeah, maybe you guys have religious trauma. There's something with angels here where it's like maybe you feel lied to by a spiritual practitioner or leader. You want definite change. You want to believe in God or a higher being to all this chaos and madness, but you don't believe in religion itself. I totally get you. And then you're like, well, how are you able to channel these very specific things about me? How did you know that I felt this way? How did I blah, 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 blah? And I'm sitting here going like, well, I don't have a scientific answer for you. And that's what makes intuition so tricky and challenging. And again, maybe you've tried reading my articles or checking out my website to figure out how I'm doing this stuff, and just continues to like cause you to spin and churn and whatever. And I think that's like your first lesson is just stop. Ask yourself, why do you care? Because like with this pile, I don't think you guys are going to get it in the same vibe that you're at. Like no offense, like I think you guys are just going to continue to waste your own time, and I would prefer that you guys work on yourselves and then come back, see if that does anything for you. But like getting mad at me for knowing things about you because I channeled it doesn't help either of us, because I just want to help everybody. And even if it wasn't helpful, if I said something harmful to you, I apologize. But like, I don't know, maybe the number 6 is important to you, but like trying to associate me with devil work or magic or trying to possess people or whatever the fuck energy y'all are in, you gotta cut that out. I'm sorry, I don't do that kind of stuff, and if you want to accuse me of lying, fine. Like I don't care, okay? Because that's not what I'm about. And if you are in the paranoid energy that you're in, pause, check in with yourself and your intuition, and let your intuition make a judgment about me. See what it says. Be honest, because if you're attacking me this hard or this harshly, there's got to be some truth in there somewhere that you got to work and resolve about yourself. As I've been telling in some of the other piles, like if you see something external to you that makes you upset, check in with yourself and ask yourself why. Some of you guys have regrets about something. Either you're mad at me or you're mad at somebody else, but you're using me as a punching bag, which, okay, whatever. I can take a hit, but like, you guys need to like stop sending messages or trying to get somebody else's attention through me. Like, this is stupid. We've got manifest, tell the universe exactly what you want. That's what your heart's saying. Is like, what, like, the universe is like, what do you want? Like, okay, so say for example, and again, this may not be all of y'all, but I'm assuming one of y'all definitely has a vendetta against me. That's why your energy keeps showing back up. Tell the universe what you want. Why, like what exactly do you gain from fighting people that have nothing to do with your wound? You know what I mean? Like, everybody out here, and again, not just everybody, but there's a lot of people out here that literally just want to live life and exist. You know what I mean? Like, there's a lot of people out there that are trying to pass judgment on other people simply because they're trying to survive, and that's what the system taught them. And I feel like the system taught you things, but you're like, I rebel against the system. And I'm like, well, you're doing a pretty fine-ass job fitting right into it. It's working for other people, and yeah, you're fitting into a system that just so happens to dislike people like me because I have a lot of light in me. And you're like, you don't have light, you're the devil. And I'm like, if you think I'm from working with the devil, then why don't you work with God and manifest me coming to light? If that's what you want from me, then ask for that. Pray for me. Say you love me. Whatever. You know what I mean? But like, you're trying to do all this attacking and stuff by yourself, and it's like it's not coming from a place of love. Okay? And like, that's why I'm protected and I don't care, because that's what I want to receive, is love from you and other people. And if you want hate for me and other people, then, you know, that's your issue. Again, I don't really understand what you want out of this. Do you want me to change? Do you want me to stop doing tarot? Why does that impact you? Why does my energy make you upset? Why do I have power over you? It doesn't make sense to me, but it clearly is making sense to you because you continue to do it. And you're like, don't talk to me. And I'm like, well, then don't talk to me. Why are you here? Pregnancy. Someone's expecting. Yeah. I heard the word like viable pregnancy. Again, there's something in your heart. I'm hearing your heart's in your stomach. I don't know. Again, did something bad happen to you? Ooh, okay, yep, I know. Okay, so if you want to talk about like chakras and stuff like that, and you're like, magic and witchcraft, and I'm like, it's not. I'm just sensing your energy. Um, yeah, it's something to do with like your sacral chakra area. Um, mm, yeah, okay, so to me, yeah, you guys have a very hard time connecting to your body. Um, Maybe there was like a miscarriage, maybe there was some kind of like bad thing that happened to your parents. I just feel like there might be something just genetic that is also part of this resentment. I don't want to blame genetics entirely, but there's something about like, I'm just feeling it in your lower abdomen. Um that's where you're systemically, there's like an issue there. And that's where your body's kind of holding on to it, which, I mean, if you get a little lower, that goes into your root chakra, but again, that there's just something there's something that has to do with your parents and maybe a mother wound. Maybe something happened while your mother was pregnant with you. Um Maybe you were supposed to give birth and there was an abortion. Maybe a person didn't come to term. I don't know, someone Or maybe you want to get pregnant, but you can't. This is very interesting. Or maybe you want to make a child. I don't know. And you can't. Oof, ow. That kind of hurt a little bit. Patience. I don't know. There's just infertility energy here. Patience. In just a few more months, good things come to those who wait. Yeah. You can wait. Wait and see if things change. You know what I mean? You're gonna knock down a tower. They're just gonna get back up and keep going. Like, I don't know if you like burning down people's houses and you're like, yeah, I'm gonna try to throw this person off kilter and da 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 da. And it's like, okay. You know, like with your heart, everything that you're doing to other people is stuff that you're doing to yourself and has been done to you. And you don't have the patience to heal because you're on this holy ass mission to change the world. And you want to survive, but you can't survive because these other people exist. And it's like, why? Why can't we just be friends? And you're like, why would you want to be friends with me? And I'm like, because you seem cool. You clearly need friends. You have a heart. You're here. Like, just because a pregnancy went bad doesn't mean that you're a bad person. I don't know. I just feel like you don't get treated like you're a person a lot. And I think you just gotta relax and be like, hey, like, why do you want to spend all this time destroying other people's shit? What does that have anything to do with you? I saw boy pussy, so like again, I've got like this pin over there, and it's like, to me, it's like, do you have gender dysmorphia of some kind? Do you have your own existential relationship that you're struggling with? Because hurt people. If you weren't okay, or like if you were okay, you wouldn't want to do this stuff. And you're like, yeah, I would. And I'm like, really? And you're like, yeah. And it's like, it just feels very like, I don't think you question your motives enough simply because it's very painful. And it's like, again, I feel like you're like afraid people are haunting you or hunting you. When if you've eliminated everyone from your life, there's no one coming back. You know what I mean? Like, and I know you're like, yeah. And like, and I'm just saying, like, I used to have this energy. I got out of it because of my spiritual awakening, because I fell in love with somebody very special to me. And it wasn't until I was able to connect with another human being that I began to realize, oh, this actually isn't who I am inherently. And I want you guys to know that, like, what you're experiencing is a normal part of being a human being. And you're like, this is witchcraft. And I'm like, it's not witchcraft. There's psychology involved. And I don't know why you're so harsh towards other people's opinions when you don't give yourself a chance to have your own opinion. You're not letting your heart have its own opinion. And that's what I don't understand, is because, like, when was the last time you talked to your heart? And you're like, I don't have one. And I'm like, I don't know. I'm pretty sure your doctor would vouch that you do. And you're like, that's not what I mean. And I'm like, okay. Like, yeah, I think you guys are just so afraid to face your traumas and they're like, focus on yourself. Speak about yourself. And I'm like, well, I do all the time. You know, like that's why you're here listening to me, because some piece of you is like me. You just don't know how to connect to it. And you're like, what do you mean? And I'm like, well, because if you like me and things about me, those are things you like about yourself. Like, that's witchcraft. And I'm like, is it witchcraft, guys? And then all the ugly emotions just rose up, right? And you're like, oh, and I feel really uncomfortable because you're being reminded of a person that hurt you in the past. And so as you clear that out and understand that just because you experience something in your body doesn't mean that's who you are, okay? And you're feeling rejection and the echoes of a response to someone that hurt you in the past. And nobody taught you how to navigate feelings. You're an externalizer, right? And so what you're not understanding is when you look at somebody and you have a reaction and then you do something, you're not pausing to see inward because you can't, because you see that blockage. And so whenever you're faced, I probably triggered one of y'all, but like when you experience that trigger in your face, all of a sudden all that lightning goes right back to you. And then, oh, boom, there's your spiritual awakening. Have fun with that. I'm just saying, because like when this happened to me the first time, yeah, it was kind of horrible. And then I realized, why am I being horrible? And then like it just kind of like everything just got better when I faced it. And when I realized that, oh, actually, I do have a heart. I've just been hurting myself for years. I didn't understand what was going on. Relax. Then I could relax because I realized I wasn't alone. I'm not the only human being that deals with these thoughts, feelings, and emotions. And like, you guys aren't a villain, pile number 5. At least I don't think you are. I just think you didn't know how to feel. And you just watch as everybody else gets to live their happy-ass life. And to me, it's kind of like, yeah, like something about a boy. Yeah, maybe you guys struggle with your own gender stuff. And like, here's the thing when it comes to gender stuff, because you can be like, like, at least in my scenario, like, there's genetics involved. Like, I had a twin brother who didn't make it. And, yeah, it makes scientific sense that if I've got genetic coding of another human being in my body, that can cause psychological symptoms. And if you're interested in learning about surviving twin syndrome, I'm gonna have stuff on my blog about it, because it is a very specific condition, and I have a lot of, you know, thoughts about like the spiritual community with twin flames and all these other things. But the point is, though, is that like you can have psychological things going on as a result of genetic things that happened in the womb. And that has nothing to do with you. But clearly, there's a reason why you're attacking so fiercely. You're clearly passionate about either me or something else, so then why can't we just talk about it? Why don't you comment? Because y'all are lurking. You're not saying anything on these videos, but you're watching. And to me, it's like, I'm not afraid because I did the work. I have boundaries. I know where my power comes from. And they're like, well, where does your power come from? And I was like, it comes from spirit. It comes from trusting. It comes from the light that's inside of me, that's also inside of you. You just haven't learned to connect to it yet. And it was taken away from you probably by a long time ago by somebody else. But, you know, right now, I want, like, well, okay. I can't claim this. I can't claim to give this to you. But if you're open to receiving the same thing, you gotta ask for it. You gotta relax and ask to be shown and to connect to it. You know what I mean? Like, I know how to ignite fires in people, but that's not because I have that power. It's because we're reflecting that back to each other. You know? If you want it, you already got it inside of you. You just gotta figure out a way to connect it. And I don't know if this is gonna trigger your spiritual awakening or whatever. Like, this energy is very strange. But I'm just saying, go look at, like, seriously, pile number 5. Go look at my old YouTube videos. And just test your intuition. Because y'all have been following me for a while. And, like, clearly, if you are continuing to choosing the right piles that has the same that we're having the same conversation back and forth, then clearly you have intuitive abilities that are trying to send you messages that it's all gonna be okay. That is literally your pile. It's gonna be okay. Like, don't be afraid of your intuition, guys. Like, I genuinely believe that you probably, no offense, pile number 5, you probably scared the crap out of one of your parents being so psychically gifted, and if that one of those parents was a narcissist, you probably got either, like, beaten the crap out of, like, really harmed in a certain kind of way, because they knew that you were gonna expose the truth of what happened and what went on in your family and all this other stuff. So they wanted you to turn into a monster just like them. But guess what? Your spirit guide team said, nope, we're gonna put you right on Earth, smack dab right at the same time Christian's doing this tarot reading and has access to the internet, and you're gonna have your tower moment. Which, if you look into tarot, look it up online, but the tower is basically about, like, your fundamental foundation of your life is gonna get upended. And yeah, well, guess what? That's what happened to me, and now I'm doing this. So, and it's not gonna stop just because you don't like me, and because political people don't like me, because this is just the cycle of life. But, like, with all these butterflies, like, to me, it's like, just go transform your life and grow and bloom. That's why I'm doing this stuff. Like, I don't care about all the politics and all this stuff. I'm literally doing this because I was lit up, I healed, and I want to go share that with other people. And the way that I do it is through tarot cards and through speaking and just being me. And if you're gonna call me a snowflake or whatever for that, then I'm a snowflake. But, like, I think the real we both know between the two of us who the real snowflake is. It's the person who's pretending to be someone they're not. And it sounds like it's not me, because I'm not pretending. So, anyways, yeah, I keep seeing the word boy. I don't know if you're, like, saying I'm a boy, and I'm like, well, I'm biologically female. Again, you don't have to understand me. Who cares? Why do you care? Like, unless you want to be my friend, then ask to be my friend. You don't have to understand me in order to be my friend. You're like, that's a conundrum, and I'm like, okay, whatever. You guys live your life. Whatever. I'm done. I was gonna say figuring out the truth crushed me. Finding out the truth crushed me. Yeah, so there's something about you guys with your heart. Like, I think when you really start working on your trauma responses in your energy, and why I say energy, like, I don't have a, I will say you guys are calling me out right now, because it's like finding a good way to define energy in this context of what you guys are needing to connect to is a little hard. And what I'm hearing, it's kind of scary for y'all, because it's like you're navigating a wound inside of you that's really dark, and you don't know how to navigate this inner space. With the crushed, it's like you're literally navigating, working with a version of you in your subconscious that can't connect to thoughts, feelings, and emotions of this void that's blocking this spiritual energy frequency. All right, so I'm gonna do something real fast to help y'all out. And again, if it works, it works. If it doesn't, it doesn't. But I'm literally gonna be like, okay, whoever's watching this pile, I'm gonna try. No, I will remove this blockage and welcome in the light that you're seeking if you choose to accept it. And again, this has to be consensual, so if you don't want access to light and love and all this other stuff, you don't have to accept it, because consent is what is necessary to have access to it. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to pull that light in to our chest. We're going to hold it, and we're going to let it take root if it wants to be there, and if you want it to be there. It's got to be consensual and mutual. You never have to do anything that you don't want to do that's not necessary for your survival. Okay, so the words I'm hearing right now are, you're saying, I'm not needed. And that's not true. That's not what your heart space is saying. You are needed. You are special and unique. Not in the You get a trophy, you know, for doing your math problems. This is about the fact that you have a unique human experience that you've lived, and you need to acknowledge that it's a unique experience, right? That your conformity with other people was a trauma response because you aren't understanding your own individuality and your own projections. You need to say, I need to let go of what's holding me back from my connections with others. And I want to be free to be myself authentically. And that's it. It will be okay. Yeah, I just feel like something got healed. I hid who I really am from you. Yeah. A version of you has been hiding itself from you. And you've just been living on the other side for a while. And you're probably going to be really ashamed about how you messed up, but like, it's okay. Like, we're all here to learn. You know, again, I'm feeling like you're special. You're like, I really am that person. You know? It's okay, guys. Like, it's okay to release this energy. Yeah, I'm hearing like boy pussy, like, did your like dad make fun of you or something? I can't really tell you guys' gender, but it's kind of like, to me, it's like gender doesn't matter. You know what I mean? Like, there's just hurt here, and your heart wants to release it and wants to connect with something bigger than itself. It's tired. It's tired of being unheard. It's tired of waiting for something to change. There's your change. Go light them up. I love you unconditionally. Because your heart space loves you unconditionally, guys. That's why it's your heart. And you're like, it's as black as my soul. And I'm like, we both know you're lying. We both know you're hiding from yourself. And it's okay to acknowledge that. And if you can't, you can't in this lifetime. But that doesn't change the fact that you're loved unconditionally. And right now, you don't know what that means. But in time, you will. And it's going to be okay. Yeah, I just want to send you guys some really maternal, loving energy. You know? Because I'm just disheartened that you're hurting yourself this way. Because I don't want you guys hurting yourselves. And certainly don't use me to hurt yourself. Jeez. Just relax. Like, seriously, like, take some deep breaths. Connect with your heart. I knew exactly what I was doing. Yeah. You knew exactly what you were doing when you were hurting yourself. And I think, like, you're realizing that you were the issue. Like, I do these things to other people. We cleared out the blockage, so you can see yourself in it now. And that's where you just need to see you, okay? Maybe that was the childhood wound that you had, where, like, because of how you were hurt, you couldn't see you anymore. But when you can see you can be happy again. Or at least you don't have to hide anymore. Because you're not looking at it from a lens of I'm a monster anymore. You can look at it from the lens of I'm a person who was hurt really badly and maybe possibly made bad decisions. But I can still be loved regardless. And that's what Spirit's all about. It's deep, but it's not that deep, if that makes any sense. And I hope that you can forgive me one day. Yeah. I mean, like, if you follow Christianity, that's what the Christian God's all about, is asking for forgiveness. You know? And I think, like, if you want forgiveness for hurting other people because you weren't aware of how you were hurting other people, then ask for it. You know, ask for forgiveness from the universe. Even if you don't know what that feels like, ask so you can experience it. Because you're hiding, like, the version of you that's safe within you is hiding because it's waiting for you to forgive yourself from what you did. And again, I love you. I unconditionally love you. And tell that little voice inside of you that is holding onto a little thread of hope and light that you love it. And just say, I love you, over and over and over again. And then feel your heart be filled. And have hope. Because I've got plenty of hope for you. I already know y'all gonna be fine. Because I'm here to help. But, you know, you guys, you're gonna do your own work. So, but again, I think relaxing is gonna take some time. Because again, I get it with the paranoia and all that other stuff, feeling like people are coming after you. But like, there's a certain point where it's like, I'm at the point where I've done the work and I'm connected to spirit enough where I'm like, I know I'm gonna be cool. I'm gonna be fine. That's why I'm not really afraid of y'all. If anything, I'm afraid of being detached from the light ever again. And being in the space that you guys were at. But I can at least show you what it's like to die on the inside and come out the other way. And, yeah, dying on the inside sucks. But, like, it seems like you guys firsthand have the experience to know about it. Yeah. I don't know, I'm seeing, like, smoke and stuff, so... Maybe you guys smoke. Or... Nah, I'm also feeling, like, incense. You know what I mean? I'm seeing, like, just burn some incense a little bit. Clear your mind. Maybe listen to some drums. Something consistent. And just work on your third eye. Yeah. I'm thinking of a band of mine. Former band of mine, I guess. Um, yeah, I think, yeah, I genuinely believe, no offense, guys, I think you guys have very powerful intuition, and it was just demonized in your family. And you didn't know that it was due to someone else abusing you. And so now, surprise, surprise! Have fun with all your your psychic superpowers coming back to you, and yeah, and all I can say is just go be healed, okay? Like again, you're not. I don't know what y'all energy you're trying to send my way, but it's not working because I'm doing fine, you know, and I really hope that you guys heal because I would love to see you come out the other side. And if you don't want to, okay. It's okay either way, right? This is part of the healing work that we're doing here and co-creating that space. So, yeah, it's kind of funny because it's like I feel like I'm like during the day and you guys are the nighttime, but it's like the moon can be just so chill, you know? And it's like just because you're living in the dark doesn't mean you're not the light in the dark, you know? Oh, I'm thinking of a podcast a friend of mine does. Um, anyways, yeah, that was your message, pile number 5. I'm just gonna say I love you, and I wish you guys the best in your healing journey. And I really hope, you know, this fight that you're dealing with inside goes well. Because I totally get it what it's like to not fit in, not be able to care about yourself or others and all this other stuff. And I didn't make the best decisions. And I made a commitment to myself that I am going to get better and heal. And better may look different than what's better for you, but I hope that you find the love that you're looking for. And I hope that at least my messages helped you heal in some way, some shape or form. So, anyways, sending you guys a lot of love. I appreciate the time and energy you took to watch this message, and yeah, I hope you go back and take some notes. Because that's another thing too, is if you genuinely want to like work on some of the stuff, go back again, watch another pick a card reading or whatever, and take some notes about some of the things I say. Stick them on a wall, forget about it for a week, and then come back. You know. But yeah, just understand this stuff takes time, and you're gonna get there. And yeah, whatever thing you got going on down there, I think it's gonna work itself out. So, yeah. Like, comment, subscribe, share, all that good stuff, and see y'all next time. Tell your friends about me. Bye.